Words cannot express the splendor of your majesty. And sometimes there'll be trials that will come your way, and the darkness encompasses you, that you can't tell your night from day. He's faithful, and his word is so true, so true, so true, that in your darkest hour, it is Yah that pulls you through. Praise worthy to be praised. We long to love you all our days. Yahuah, we lift you high, Almighty King of our lives. Yahusha, we proudly shout your name. Leolam Paye. Yahusha, we proudly shout your name. Yahusha, my rock. Yahusha, you are my strength. From the rising of the sun to the going down of the same, Yahuah's name shall be praised. Yahuah's name shout your name. Leolam Baye, Yahusha, we proudly shout your name. Yahusha, you are my rock. Yahusha, you are my strength. From the rising of the sun to the going down of the same, Yahuah's name shall be praised. Yahuah's name shall be praised. Your name, praise be your name. The same, Yahuah's name shall be praised. Yahuah's name shall be praised.
Yahuah, from the rising of the sun to the going down of the same, Yahuah's name shall be praised. Hallelujah.
I just wanted to praise his name and just encourage everyone to keep on keeping on. And sometimes your praise, if it can be very, weak, because sometimes in the midst of a trial, we don't feel like giving praise. And when your life is on continuing, ongoing, because of where we are and who we are and what Yahuah is working out, it's not going to be easy, like Haykal said, but we give him esteem anyway. How Yahuah. So this is a little song. It says, "Because you are the Elohim," and so please bear with me because I don't have music, and I have to make sure if I don't start on the right key, I'm on, but it's all right. All right, how about Yahuah? I sing praises to your name, 'cause your mercy remains the same. Halal, halal, Yahuah. My heart gives you all esteem, just because you're the Elohim. Halal, halal, Yahuah. I'll be singing your praise, singing your praise, your mercy, and you reign supreme. Singing your praise, I'll be singing your praise, Yahuah. Your name, your name, your name, Yahuah's name, your name, your name, Yahuah's name, we praise your name, Yahuah Rapha, you're here with me, Yahuah Shalom, you give me peace, Yahuah seek anew a brightness to me. Yahuah Yara, you provide your seed. So I'll be singing your praise, singing your praise. Yahuah, you reign supreme. I'll be singing your praise, singing your praise. Yahuah, I praise your name, your name, your name, your name. Yahuwah's name, we praise your name, your name, your name. Yahuwah's name, we praise your name, we praise your name. Allow Yahuah to Rabbah for your listening and for your patience. Turah. Amen.
Allahu Yahuah, that is our akut yariyah, and it is indeed a baraka to hear her voice. Yahuah has truly gifted her, and we love our akut yariyah. I want to say shalom to you all, Mashbaka. It is wonderful to be here today, and it is great to see each and every one of you. We give Yahuah praise. We say Turah Yahuah, Yada Yahuah, for keeping us through yet another week, for keeping us through some more perilous times, and for continuing to strengthen us, and for guiding us, and for encouraging us, because truly Yahuah know we need the encouragement. And so, family, it is wonderful to see each and every one of you today. I'm excited about being here today. I've certainly missed you, and he's also looking forward to Yahuwah's word. It is my prayer today, and it is my hope that Yahuah would bring forth his word in a way that would encourage each and every one of us, that it would bring life to us, speak life to us, rejuvenate us, strengthen our belief, reawaken us where we are beginning to fall asleep, and just cause us to fall in love with him all over again. You know, there's so much in the world that contends for his position in our lives. There is so much in the world that contends with his word in our life. You know, there is so much confusion out there. There is sometimes you don't know what to think, right? Sometimes, if we get honest right now, sometimes we wonder what to believe, because there are so many voices, there's so much confusion. You know, there is there's so much oppression, so much depression, so much hysteria, so much all kinds of stuff. And sometimes, to be honest, it seems as if it's not enough Yahuah. Can I be honest? Can I be real here today? Sometimes it seems like it's a whole lot of everything else and not enough Yahuah. That's the way it feels to me sometimes, family. And I hope you don't mind me saying this, but that's quite frankly the way it feels sometimes. Sometimes it feels like a whole lot of everything else, but there is not enough Yahuah. But you know what? The scriptures give us an answer for that. It explains why that is. And as a part of our study today, we're going to see why that is, right? Why sometimes you can feel so overwhelmed. Why sometimes it can seem as if everything else is real and everyone else is real except for Yahuah. And, you know, that's one of the hard truths that sometimes we as his people, sometimes we don't want to admit to. We don't want to admit to the fact that sometimes, sometimes our challenges and our obstacles feel more real than our Creator. But sometimes it do. But nonetheless, it is my hope that Yahuwah's word would bring encouragement and will bring answers to you today. It is my prayer to Yahuah today that his word would cause us to fall in love afresh or anew all over again with him, that we would truly find strength and encouragement in his word. And so with that, family, I want to say shalom to each and every one of you. May Yahuah truly continue to barak and to strengthen you. Praise Yahuah. May the joy of Yahuah truly be your strength today and every day. And so, family, we're going to open up in prayer, and then I'm going to come back and I'm going to greet our mashpaka individually. And we have a lot to cover today. We're going back to the book of Zakaryahu. We're dealing with the subject of Mashyach. because as we know, there are a lot of confusion out there. There's certainly a lot of confusion out there on the subject of Mashyach at this very moment. And so, you know, my intention is just to bring to you what the word of Yahuah says. Okay? My job isn't even to convince anybody. I'm not here to convince anybody. I'm really not. That's not my job. Yahuah convinces whom he will. Okay? But it's not my job to convince. It's just my job to relay the message. So we're going to go to the word and we're going to seek out his truth, his contextual truth, right? Because that is what we seek. And so it is my hope, it is my prayer today that his word would truly be a barakah to each and every one of you listening today. May Yahuah continue to barak and strengthen us, and may Yahuah favor this broadcast today. The last time we were together, we had a lot of challenges, but we're praying that we would have favor today, and that those challenges won't be an issue. Okay, so let us pray. Turn our faces toward the set apart place of Yahuah as we come before him today. Halalhu Yahuah. Abba Yahuah, we thank and praise you because you are Yahu. You are Elohim, and there's truly none beside you. You are great, and indeed greatly to be praised. In your word, you declare to us that from the rising of the sun to the going down of the same, the name of Yahuah is to be praised. And so we come before you today, Yahuah, with praise and with thanksgiving. We say, Turah Rabbah, for bringing us into yet another day. Turah Rabbah, for the opportunity to assemble in your name. Turah Rabbah, for your provision, Yahuah. We do not take it lightly. Father, you have made provision in order for us to be able to come together in this venue. You have made provision for us to have electricity. You have made provision for us to have an internet connection. You have made provision for us to have shelter. You have made provision for us to have food and clothing. You have made provision for our families. Yahuah, you have made provision for our safety. Hallelujah. And so we barak your great name today, Father. We give you esteem. We give you honor that you alone deserve. We pray that your favor would be upon this time. We pray, Yahuah, that your favor would be upon every household represented here today. We pray that your favor would be upon our children. We pray that your favor would be upon our families as we travel back and forth, and as we encounter, sometimes we stare in the face of evil. Sometimes we know it, sometimes we don't. But Yahuah, we praise you for preserving us and for keeping us. Because we know that left up to the adversary, left up to the wolves, that they would tear us apart. But you have not allowed it, Yahuah. You continue to protect us and to preserve us, even though we should have long been destroyed. And for that we say Turah. Let us never take your goodness for granted. Let us never take your greatness for granted. Because, and may we ever remember, that even though we walk through the valley of the shadow of death, Yahuah, we can fear and we shall fear no evil, because you are with us, and your rod and your staff, it does comfort us. You promise to prepare a table before us in the presence of our enemies. Yahuah, you have anointed our heads with oil with great favor. You cause our cups to overflow. You promise that goodness and mercy, that shalom and mercy, shalom and favor, that it would be with us, it would walk with us, they would walk with us all the days of our lives, and that you would cause us to dwell in your house, in your bayat forever. We look forward to the day when we are regathered, Yahuah. We look forward to the day when you bring us back into our home. Yahuah, where the wicked is cast down and your people is once again restored. We look forward to that day. When we look around us and we look at situations, it looks like it will never happen. But I praise you that your word give an answer to that. We praise you that we will see that today in your word, and that we will find encouragement and joy in that, that we'll find hope in that. Your word says that hope deferred makes the heart sick. And so we praise you for hope, Yahuah. We praise you that there is hope. We praise you that you have given hope through your word. Because if not, we would be, it would be a sad state for us. And so, Abba Yahuah, we give you praise, we give you thanks. May you barak this time, and may you have your way in our midst today. Be esteemed, Yahuah. We say Halalhu Yahuah. Barak Atah Basham. Halalhu Yah. You are worthy. Halalhu Yah. And we barak you. Amen. Praises to Yahuah. Halalhu Yahuah. Praise Yahuah. Once again, Mashpaka, I want to say shalom to each and every one of you. It is wonderful to be here today, and it is great to see each and every one of you. Let me begin by greeting our Mashpaka here on Zoom. I want to say shalom to my Akut Waikida Rahman. It is wonderful to see you as always, Akut. Also to my Aki Waraya Matatyahu, I want to say shalom to you, Aki. Great to see you as always. To my Aki U Street Lab, it is great to see you, Aki. I'm just overjoyed to see the family today. I want to say shalom to my Akut Sherry, servant of Yahuah. Also want to say shalom to Akut Mia Farley. It is wonderful to see you, Akut. And also to Akut Mahalia, great to see you. And I'm praising Yahuah with you, Akut, and for you and for his provision in your life. I got your message where Yahuah barak you with a job you've been waiting for some time now. And, you know, but those that wait upon Yahuah, they'll renew their strength and mount up with wings as eagles. They'll walk and not be weary, run and not faint. And the challenge is to wait, right? And so may Yahuah help us and teach us how to wait. Patience. I want to say shalom also to my Akut Linya. I'm sorry, Akut Lina, who is with us. And by the way, her father, who's 83 years old, is also with us today. And he's listening. She's translating for him. I'm not sure, Akut, what language, what's your mother tongue, what's your language, but I know she left me a message. Her father would be joining us, and she would be translating for him today. And so we're just delighted to have you, Mashpaka, and to have our Aki Camille with us. We praise Yahuah for that. He is 83 years old, and so we give Yahuah praise, honor, and esteem, that even now that he has given the opportunity for him to hear his word. Want to say shalom also to my Akut Joan. It is wonderful to see you, Akut. And also want to say shalom to my Akut Gina. Great to see you as always, Akut. And to my Aki Alan Yahu Yashar. Great to see you, Aki. To my beloved Aki Adial, I want to say shalom to you, my Aki. And of course to my beloved Akut Adelaide Farley. It is wonderful to see you, Mashpaka. Truly, may Yahuah continue to smile upon each and every one of you, and may he continue to show his favor unto you in all that you do. Halalhu Yahuah. And so let me turn my attention for a moment here to our family on YouTube, and I also want to greet our family on Facebook. Okay, I want to greet also our family on Facebook. Just bear with me here just for a second while we try to get the family on YouTube on the screen. Okay, so to our Mashpakal joining us via YouTube Live, I want to say shalom. Shalom to Akut Jalina. Also want to say it was joining us from Vegas. Shalom to you, Akut. Also want to say shalom to Akut Anitra. It is wonderful to see you, Akut. And also to Akut Mary. Great to see you, Akut Mary. Shalom to you. She says shalom to all the family. And I also want to say shalom to esteemed Yahuah Alakim. And praise Yahuah. Praise Yahuah, Bashpaka. And to Ayakut G, I want to say shalom. To those listening whose names are not represented on the screen, I greet you in the most awesome and powerful name, Yahuah. Halalhu Yah. There is no name above his name. and at the sound of his name, every knee shall bow and every tongue shall confess that he is Elohim. Hallelujah. To the family on Facebook, I say shalom to you, Mashpaka. I'm not streaming on Facebook because I'm trying not to put too much load on the connection. That hopefully we'll have a smooth broadcast today. But to the family who is joining us via Facebook Live, I want to say shalom to you today. May Yahuah truly continue to barak you and to strengthen you in your pursuit of him. Okay, so family, we have a lot to cover today, and because we have a lot that we want to cover, I'm gonna get right into our study for today. Later on, I'm gonna open up the microphone because I'd certainly truly like to hear from our mashpaka. So I'll open up the microphone a little bit later on and invite you family to come forward and you know, just to if you have a testimony that you'd like to share, greetings, questions, comments, whatever it is, I'll open up the mic a little bit later on. But for now, what I'm going to seek to do, Mashpaka, is I'm going to seek to get into our study for today. I know that based on the questions that I've been receiving, I know that a lot of our family, a lot of our people have concerns and questions about the subject of Mashyach based on things that are being said and circulated. I know that many have questions and concerns about Mashyach, and so we have been for the past few weeks we have been and not just for the past few weeks, but it's really a subject we've probably spent more time on this subject matter than anything else. If you go back to recordings on YouTube and there are even recordings that never made it to YouTube, lessons that never made it to YouTube, you'll find that this is a subject that we have been dealing with for quite a long time. But it continues to be a challenge, right? Because of the many voices out there and the many theories and whatever else that might exist. And so family, I want to go back into this subject today. The last time we were together, we covered so we're going through the book of Zakaryahu. We started in chapter 1 and we went through chapter 2. We actually covered chapter 3, if you recall, in another video prior to going to the book of Zakaryahu. We covered chapter 3. So today, the focus, even though we're getting to chapter 3 today, and we're going to reflect on chapter 2 a little bit, but today the focus is not going to be so much on chapter 3. I'm going to read chapter 3, but then I'm going to build up on chapter 3 based on other scriptures, okay? So basically, line upon line, precept upon precept, here a little, there a little, rightly applying Yahuah's word. So what we're seeing in the book of Zakaryahu, for example, and I'm going to take you there now, Zakaryahu chapter 2. Let's go to Zakaryahu chapter 2. We already read through chapter 2. I want to go back now to Zakaryahu chapter 2 verses 9 and 10, I believe, is where I want to start off here today. So let's go to that here very quickly. So our intent today is to go to the book of Zakaryahu, chapter 2 and chapter 3. Then we're going to be going into the book of Yahuah, or what they call Ezekiel, chapter 36. And then we're going to be going to the book of Yahu, chapter 30, and chapter 30 and 31. Chapter 30 and 31. Okay? So we're looking at the subject of Mashyach in Zakaryahu. Okay? And then what we're doing is we will be examining or asking the question concerning redemption, asking the question, what changed? What changed? Because in the book of Zakaryahu, chapter 30, in the book of Zakaryahu chapter 3, we see where redemption was brought by another method other than that which was normal, so to speak, right? And we're going to look at that again in a moment. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Zakaryahu chapter 2. Let's begin there real quick. Again, the subject is Zakaryahu, Mashyach in Zakaryahu. That's what they call Zakaryahu. Okay, let me just get this on the screen. I'm trying to make sure that I'm putting the right things on the screen. Bear with me here. All right, we're gonna pick up here, begin in Zakaryahu chapter 2, and then we're gonna move over to chapter 3. Okay, again, we already covered chapter 3. I'm just gonna basically, I'm not gonna go into the depth that I went into when we covered it. Remember, chapter 3 was about the courthouse setting. We had the judge, we had the defense attorney, we had the prosecutor, and we had the we have the judge, the defense attorney, and we had the prosecutor, right? The prosecuting attorney. We looked at that and we saw what it all represented. But let's go to chapter 2 here for a moment, because again, the argument is made that the only place that you can find any evidence for Mashyach, as some people might say Messiah, is in the New Testament. That's what this all boils down to. People say that this idea of Mashyach is a New Testament thing, when in reality the fact is that Mashyach is all throughout the scriptures, right? Mashyach is all throughout the scriptures, and we have covered this many times before, the fact that Mashyach is no other than Yahuah himself. Mashyach is no other than Yahuah himself. So when we talk about Mashyach, we're not talking about any trinity. We're not talking about duality. We're talking about Yahuah, our deliverer, Yahuah, our redeemer. Okay, so looking at Zakaryahu chapter 2, where we'll begin today, it says here that in verse I'm going to begin at verse 7. It says, O Zion, escape, you who dwell with the daughter of Babal. O Zion, escape, you who dwell with the daughter of Babal. When you see Zion in scripture, or some people might say Zion, Zion. When we see Zion in scriptures, it is a reference to the people of Yahuah. Okay? It's a reference to a place, and it's a reference to a people. Okay? Here it's a reference to the people of Yahuah. O Zion, escape, you who dwell with the daughter of Babal. Okay, so this is Yahuwah's word to his people who find themselves in captivity, who find themselves in confusion. Babal is a reference to a place as well as to a state of confusion. So Babal is a reference to a place as well as a state of confusion. So you who find yourself in the place of confusion, place of captivity, escape, O Zion, my people, dwelling in captivity, escape. But the question is now, how are they going to escape? That's the question. How are we going to escape? When we look at our lives, family, as people of Yahuah, many of us living in poverty, living poor, can't, we just barely making it by, right? Well, now we believe, based on the scriptures, that our home is not here where we find ourselves right now. But according to the scriptures, because of our disobedience, the disobedience of our forefathers, we were scattered. And we're going to see that in the scriptures today also. We were scattered and we were led into captivity because of our own disobedience. We were stripped. We were made impoverished. We were made into the doormat of the earth, so to speak, of the nations, because of our disobedience. And now we find ourselves living in oppression, but Yahuwah says escape. And how are we to escape? I can't afford a plane ticket to go to where I believe is my land. So how am I going to escape? And even if I could go there, it's not being ruled by our people. You have people who are really imposters that's currently living in the land. So what difference does it make even if I get there? Right? So, but Yahuwah says, O Zion, O my people, escape, you who dwell with the daughter of Babal. Escape to where and escape how? That is the question. Escape to where and escape how? So the question really is, how will our deliverance come? That's really what we're looking at. How will our deliverance come? How will our deliverance come? It's really what the idea of Mashyach really boils down to. Mashyach is about deliverance, right? So how will it come? And how will he deliver? All right? So he says, O Zion, escape, you who dwell with the daughter of Babal. For thus says Yahuwah of hosts, for the sake of esteem, he sent me to... Watch this now. For thus said Yahuwah of hosts, Yahuwah Zabaut, Yahuwah Zabaut, or Yahu Zabaut. Thus says Yahu Zabaut. This is Yahuwah speaking. Okay? Is attribute, is warring attribute speaking. And this is Yahuwah saying that he sent himself. For thus said Yahuwah Zabaut, for the sake of esteem, he sent me to the Gentiles which plunder you. To the Gentiles or to the heathen. Okay? I'm not going to get a whole lot into the word Gentile today, but it's important for me to make certain distinctions. When the scriptures talk about Gentiles, it speaks about two people. Okay? And sometimes the translators would have done better if they would use the word heathen sometimes in the place of Gentiles, because there's confusion as to Gentiles when we see it in translation. You have two different types of Gentiles in the scriptures. You have the Gentiles of Yasharal. Those are people who belong to Yahuwah but whom he divorced. That is the house of Yahuah, or the 10 tribes, right? So they became Gentiles because Yahuwah divorced them. He put them away from himself. The word Gentile means stranger, to be put away, to be put behind. It comes from the word gu, okay? And the plural form of it is guyim. And so it means stranger. It means to be put away. It means not belonging to. And so you have two sets of Gentiles in the scriptures, and you're going to see the importance of this when we get to the book of Ezekiel, or the book of Zakaryahu, chapter 36, because it's going to talk about the other Gentiles. When we get there, you'll see that. But there are two different sets of Gentiles in the scriptures. You have Gentiles who are people of Yasharal, the divorced house of Yasharal, the tribes of Yasharal, the 10 tribes of Yasharal, otherwise known as the house of Yahuah, or the house of Ephraim, or Yasharal. They're Gentiles also. There are times when Yahuwah is speaking to them, and there are times when he's speaking to the other Gentiles, or he's speaking about the other Gentiles. We rarely find Yahuwah speaking to the other Gentiles. We oftentimes find him speaking about the other Gentiles. Yahuwah don't have a lot to say to the other Gentiles. He has a lot to say about them, but not a lot to say to them. Okay? That's important to note. All right, now, for thus said Yahuwah Zabaut, for the sake of esteem, he sent me to the Gentiles which plunder you. For the sake of esteem, he sent me Zabaut. Now, this is Yahuwah of war, okay? Saying that Yahuwah, these are attributes. Okay? So Yahuah says that he sent his warring attribute to the heathen who plunder you, to the Gentiles who plunder you, Yasharal. For he who touches you touches the apple of my eye. So Yahuah is saying here that he's going to war against the people who has plundered his people, the people who have ravaged his people. That the time is coming when he's going to go to war against them. Now there's something else that we should not miss in this verse. Because when it comes to the subject of Mashyach, and when you tell people that according to the scriptures, Yahuah sends himself, they say that's impossible. They say that's nonsense. It's impossible for Yahuah to send himself. What are you talking about? Well, right here in verse 8 in the book of Zakaryahu is another example we see from the scriptures of where Yahuah sends himself. So he sends his warring attribute. He sends his warring attribute against the people who plunder his people. That's what is being said in verse 8. For thus said Yahuah Zabaoth, for the sake of esteem, he sent me, he who? Who is he? Who sent Yahuah Zabaoth? Yahuah himself. Yahuah the sovereign, who in his existence in Shamayim, in the heavens, he is invisible. Yahuah is in his completeness. Yahuah his completeness. Yahuah his highness, the most high. Or another name given for him in the scriptures that you don't hardly see in translation, Allah. That's his name also, Allah. It means the highest. It means the one that there is none higher than him. Yahuah Zabaoth says that Allah sent him, and I'm not a Muslim, just in case you're wondering, but Allah is also a title of Yahuah. It means the highest or the most high. So Yahuah Zabaoth is saying that Allah, the most high, sent him. This is Yahuah. So the most high Yahuah sent Yahuah Zabaoth, the warring attribute of Yahuah, to war against the people that have made war against his people. That's what verse 8 is saying. The reason why I'm dwelling on this for a little bit is because there are people out there who don't understand, who seem to not want to understand that Yahuah actually sends himself, that he sends his attributes, which is to send himself. Okay? And so he says that, for thus says Yahuah of hosts, Yahuah Zabaoth, for the sake of esteem, he sent me. Who is he? He is Yahuah Most High. Sent me, Yahuah Zabaoth, to the Gentiles which plunder you. Who are you here? Who is the you here? The you here is the people of Yahuah, Yasharal. For he who touches you, who is you? The people of Yasharal. Yahuah says, he who touches you, Yasharal, touches the apple of my eye. For look, I am waving my hand against them, and they shall become spoil for their servants. And they shall become spoil for their servants. Who are their servants? Their servants are us, the people of Yasharal. And Yahuah says that those who have oppressed his people will become spoil for his servants, for his people that they have oppressed. So the oppressor will become spoil for the oppressed. It's going to come one day. Okay? For their servants. And you shall know that Yahuah Zabaoth has sent me. And you shall know that Yahuah Zabaoth has sent me. Sing and rejoice, O daughter of Zion. For look, I am coming. This is Yahuah speaking. And shall dwell in your midst, declares Yahuah. Yahuah says, I am coming and shall dwell in your midst. Okay? Now there are many prophecies concerning the coming of Yahuah. And Yahuah has visited man many times. Yahuah visited his people many times. Okay? In different forms. Yahuah says that I am coming and shall dwell in your midst. Yahuah says that he is sending himself. Okay? So Yahuah has come. Yahuah will come. Okay, he has come and he has dwelt in the midst of his people, and he will come finally, and he will dwell in the midst of his people forever and ever. Okay, so it's not a matter of whether or not he has come. He has come, and he will again come. Okay, now let's go over to chapter 3, which we have covered already, but I want to get that out of the way. But now let's go to chapter 3 before we, and then we get a little bit deeper with this. Okay, again, we're looking at the subject of Mashyach in Zakaryahu. Okay, so there we see Yahuah says that he is coming to war for his people, to fight for his people. And if he's going to come to fight for his people, it means then that he's coming to redeem his people. Okay? He is coming to redeem his people. Great question there, Akut. What will that sign be? What will that sign be? Well, I like the way you're thinking, Akut. Hang on, because the answer to that question is coming. What will the sign be? When deliverance, how will we know that deliverance has arrived? Right? What will the sign be? We're going to let the scriptures give us the sign. It is there, and we're going to look at it today. Let's let the suspense build for a minute as we continue. Zakaryahu chapter 3. We have covered this before, but I'm going to read it here again. And the reason why I'm reading it again is because I want to highlight a promised change. So now what we're looking at is the promised change in Torah. Yahuah promises a change in the way that he will redeem his people. Okay, in the way that he will redeem his people. Because you see, family, according to the Torah, when we transgress against Yahuah, there's only one way to be redeemed, right? And that is by the shedding of blood. Is that right? There's only one way for us to be redeemed, and that is through the shedding of blood. And the way that has been is by people bringing goats, or if you're poor, you bring 2 doves, 2 birds, or bring a cow. You see what I'm saying? So depending on how much wealth you had, how wealthy you were would determine also the sacrifice that you would bring as a sin offering. Okay, that's interesting. But how wealthy you were, according to Torah, how wealthy you are would determine what sacrifice you would bring. That's an interesting concept there in itself. Okay, and it was truly all about you saving yourself. Keep that in mind now. According to the old contract, yes, I did say old contract. According to the old contract, there were a few things that was different than it is under, and how it will be under the new contract. Under the old contract, depending on how wealthy you were, that would determine what offering you bring for your transgression against Yahuah. At the end of the day, blood is what's required. Okay? Now you needed to bring that offering, that sin offering, which is a blood sacrifice. And in order for you to bring it, you need to bring it to a specific place, and you also need the priesthood to be in operation. So if you are in the condition that we're currently in, we're in trouble. We'd be in trouble because we don't have the place to which to bring the offering, and we don't have a priesthood to whom to bring the offering. Okay, at least not from the perspective of the old contract. Okay, we don't have a priesthood. Okay, so keep those things in mind as we continue. All right, now let's look at what's happening here in Zakaryahu chapter 3. And he showed me Yahusha. We talked about this before, and we're going to look at this name. I don't want to look at it today. I'm going to come back to it. He showed me Yahusha. They say Yehoshua here, and some translations say Joshua, but it's really none of them. It's Yahusha that we actually see in the text. And he showed me Yahusha the high priest standing before the messenger of Yahuah, and Shaitan standing at his right hand to be an adversary to him. So he showed me Yahusha the high priest, standing before the messenger of Yahuah, and Shaitan standing at his right hand to be an adversary to him. Now, family, I'm not going to get into the kind of details that I got into a couple weeks back when I went through this chapter. So I encourage you to go back and watch the old lesson, the recording on this, and to get filled in, because I don't want to spend time going over what we have already covered just recently, right? And Yahuah said to Shaitan, Yahuah rebuke you, Shaitan. Yahuah, who has chosen Jerusalem, rebuke you. Is this not a brand plucked from the fire? Okay, so this much I'm going to go over. So what you have here, again, this is a court setting. Okay, this is a court setting, and you have Yahusha the high priest. He is standing before the messenger of Yahuah, and Shaitan standing at his right hand to be an adversary to him. So let me just break this down real quick. So this is a court scene. This is a court setting. And what you're going to see here momentarily, you're going to see Yahuah in the courtroom. Yahuah is the judge in the courtroom, right? The messenger of Yahuah, which is Mashyach, Redeemer, Yahusha, Yahuah being our Savior, Yahuah being our defense, Yahuah being our Redeemer. An attribute of Yahuah is the defense lawyer. So you have the judge, you have the accused. The accused here is Yahusha the high priest. You have the messenger of Yahuah, which is Yahuah HaMashiach, our Redeemer. And you have Shaitan, the prosecuting attorney, the accuser. And he is standing at the right hand to be an adversary to Yahusha the high priest. And the judge, Yahuah, said to Shaitan, Yahuah rebuke you, Shaitan. Yahuah, who has chosen Jerusalem, rebuke you. Is this not a brand plucked from the fire? And Yahusha was dressed, the high priest was dressed in filthy garments, and was standing before the messenger. Okay? Yahuah, our Redeemer. And he answered and spoke to those who stood before him, saying, remove the filthy garments from him. And to him he said, see, I have removed your guilt from you, and shall put costly robes on you. Now watch what's happening in verse 4. So Yahuah says to those standing before him, who is standing before him? You have Shaitan, the adversary. So Shaitan ain't going to be the one to remove the filthy garment. The accuser is not going to be the one to remove the filthy garment, right? But the next person that you have standing in the courtroom, standing before Yahuah, is the messenger of Yahuah, or the Mashyach, Yahusha, right? Standing before the judge, along with the accused. And he said to the messenger, remove the filthy garment from him. Okay? And notice now what Yahuah says after the messenger of Yahuah has removed the filthy garment. What did Yahuah says? What did Yahuah say? He says, and to him he said, see, I have removed your guilt from you, and shall put costly robes on you. So even though it was the messenger that removed the garment, which is, the messenger is no other than Yahuah himself, Yahuah said, I have removed your guilt from you, and shall put costly robes on you. Now, the last time we went over this, we asked the question, according to Torah, what should have been done here, according to Torah, for redemption? Because the filthy garment represents sin. It represents transgression. It represents the fact that that the high priest here had disobeyed the Torah of Yahuah. And according to the Torah, it says that when a person transgresses, when a person disobeys, when a person sins, then he is to bring a blood sacrifice, blood offering. He is to bring a sin offering, right? But no sin offering was brought, right? No sin offering was brought, and yet his guilt was removed from him. This is a glimpse at the promised change that would take place. Yahuwah made a promise that he would make a change to the Torah of redemption. And here we see the change in effect. So this man was declared right even though no animal sacrifice was made on his behalf. Right? No animal sacrifice was made on his behalf, but he was declared right. He told them to remove his filthy garment from him. Right? Now one would say that that's a violation. Certainly on the surface it seemed like a violation of Torah. Right? But that's because Yahuwah has made a change to the contract, where Yahuwah himself becomes the redeemer. That's why he says, see, I have removed your filthy garments from you. Okay? When he instructed his messenger to remove the garments. And I said, let them put a clean turban, verse 5, on his head. Then they put a clean turban on his head, and they put garments on him. And the messenger of Yahuwah stood by. And the messenger of Yahuwah witnessed to Yahusha, saying, thus said Yahuwah of hosts, Yahuwah Zabaoth, if you walk in my ways, and if you guard my duty, then you shall also rule my house, and also guard my courts, and I shall give you access among these standing here. Now listen, Yahusha the high priest, you and your companions who sit before you, for they are men of symbol. Okay? So listen, watch what he says now. He says, listen, Yahusha the high priest, you and your companions who sit before you, for they are men of symbol. You see, all of this here, this whole setting, this vision that you're seeing, this whole setting right here, it's a symbol. It symbolizes something. It symbolizes a change. They're men of symbol, for look, I am bringing forth my servant, the branch. For look, I am bringing forth my servant, the branch. See the stone which I have put before Yahusha. On one stone are 7 eyes. See, I am engraving its inscription, declares Yahuwah of hosts. Okay? And I shall remove the guilt of that land in one day. So what Yahuwah is showing, he says, this is symbolic of what I will do for my people. This is symbolic of what I will do for my people. The 7 eyes upon this one stone is representative of attributes of Yahuwah. And he said that in one day he will remove the guilt of his land. The guilt upon his people. In that day declares Yahuwah of hosts, Yahuwah Zabaoth, you shall invite one another under the vine and under the fig tree. In that day you shall invite one another under the vine and under the fig tree. All right. Now again, I've gone over this text, this passage in detail in one aspect, but today I'm going to go over it from another perspective. Okay. I'm going to go over it from another perspective, and so I'm not going to go over everything and go into details like I did before, but what I want you to focus on here is the change that took place and how redemption was brought here to Yahusha the high priest. Okay? The fact that no animal offering was offered up on his behalf in order for him to be cleansed and to be made redeemed and to be accepted once again. No animal blood was shed on his behalf. This is a symbol of change for Yahuwah's people, for the nation, and for the contract. Okay? So Yahuwah brought a change to the contract, and this is symbolic to that change. All right? Now, to highlight and to emphasize, so that to help us to see more pronouncedly the change, what I want to do here, family, is I want to now take you to what let me take you to the book of Yahuwah, Ezekiel chapter 36, and then we're going to go to as a matter of fact, before we go to Ezekiel 36, let's go to the book of Yahuah, chapter 30 and 31. Okay? Yahu chapter 30 and 31. Let's go there first. We're talking about the change to the contract. Okay? The change to the contract. That's what we're talking about. You see? Because the contract was changed. And that's what Shaul spoke about, for example, in the book of Abarim, or what they call Hebrews. Okay? In the book of Abarim, chapter 8. The change to the contract. Yes, Yahuah made a change to the contract. Now, let's look at chapter 30. We're going to begin in chapter 30, and we're going to work our way through chapter 31, and then we're going to go to the book of Ezekiel, chapter 36. All right. Now, this is Yahu chapter 31. And Yahuah says here in chapter 31, at that time declares Yahuah. As a matter of fact, because it starts out with at that time. Oh, I went to chapter 31 first. I should have gone to chapter 30. All right. Now, chapter 30. The word that came to Yahu from Yahuah saying, thus spoke Yahuah Elohim to Yasharal, saying, write in a book for yourself all the words that I have spoken to you. For look, the days are coming, declares Yahuah, when I shall turn back the captivity of my people Yasharal and Yehudah, declares Yahuah, and I shall bring them back to the land that I gave to their fathers, and let them possess it. Now the question was asked earlier, what will be the sign in that time? Well, the sign will be that you will be able to do something that you have never been able to do before. Because it's Yahuah that's going to bring us back. Yahuah says that the day will come when I shall bring them back. Okay? For look, the days are coming, declares Yahuah, when I shall turn back the captivity of my people. So he's going to turn back the captivity of his people. He's going to reverse the captivity of his people. Yasharal and Yehudah, the two houses of Yasharal, the two witnesses in the earth. And I shall bring them back to the land that I gave to their fathers, and let them possess it. Today, family, when we look at the way the world is going, when we look at the declarations that they're making, when they say that they declare they're going to make, quote unquote, Jerusalem the capital of Israel, and it seems like they're just taking more and more root, you know, and you wonder, when will this end? How will this end? How will we ever be possessors of our land again? You know, because it seems as if the strong there's no end to his strength, right? Now Yahuah says, for look, the days are coming, declares Yahuah, when I shall turn back the captivity of my people, Yasharal and Yehudah. I will turn back. I will reverse the captivity of my people, Yasharal and Yehudah, declares Yahuah. And I shall bring them back to the land that I gave to their fathers, and I will let them possess it. And these are the words Yahuah spoke concerning Yasharal and Yehudah. For this is what Yahuah said, we have heard a voice of trembling, of fear, and not of peace. Ask now and see if a man is giving birth. Why do I see every man with his hands on his loins, like a woman in labor, and all faces turned pale? Bear with me just for a second. I just want to check something here. I forgot to. Okay, everybody can see. Okay. Okay. Why do I see every man with his hands on his loins, like a woman in labor, and all faces turned pale? Oh, for great is that day. There is none like it. And it is the time of Yaakov's distress, Yaakov's trouble. But he shall be saved out of it. Okay? Now, the time of Yaakov's trouble. You've heard a lot said about the times of Yaakov's trouble. And you've heard it spoken of as if it's just, you know, one little period of time. And we've gone over this in previous studies, but the time of Yaakob's trouble, the time of Yaakob's distress, they say Jacob's trouble. The time of Yaakob's trouble, Yaakov, which is speaking of the nation of Yasharal, it have seen many days of trouble, right? But there would come a time, there would come a period, there would come a captivity like none before it and none after it. And it is in that particular captivity, it is in that particular time of great distress that our deliverance will come. It is in that slavery that we have never seen anything like it, that it is in that captivity that our deliverance will come. That's what Yahuah is saying. Now, family, you know, the slavery that we have been in, and I say the slavery that we have been in because we are still an enslaved people. We're still a people who see injustice on a daily basis. We're still a people who, even though some people might think that we are being treated fairly, but the fact of the matter is that we're not treated fairly and we're not treated equally. Just look around you. Look at the news. Look at the hypocrisy. You see? And you will see it. There is no justice, no real justice for us in our land of captivity to this very day. We're still in the time of Yaakov's trouble. But it is in this time where so many millions and millions of our people have perished in this captivity. Millions have perished. While they stole us from the west coast of Africa and brought us over on slave ships, millions perished along the way because when they ran out of food or when we get sick from the just vile conditions that they put us in, and we got sick, they would just throw us overboard and feed us to sharks. They would tie chains to us and along with weights and sink us to the bottom of the ocean. It had become so much known to the creatures of the sea, to the creatures of the ocean. The trail of blood had become so known to them that they knew the schedule of the ships. And instead of migrating as they normally would, the slave trade would actually serve to change the migration pattern of the sharks. Instead of migrating, they would just wait on the ships because they knew that a feast was near. And so as they carried our ancestors from Africa on these slave ships, and we got sick and they ran out of food to feed us, they would just throw us overboard and the sharks would have a feast. That is the nature of Yaakov's trouble. The nature of Yaakov's trouble is that our people would be shot down in the street, unarmed and without reason. And the people who do it would get away with it. No questions asked. Nature of Yaakov's trouble is that even though they say freedom and freedom of speech, it would apply to others but not to us. So Yahuah says, in that time of great distress is when my deliverance would come. Oh, for great is that day, there is none like it. Verse 7, and it is the time of Yaakov's distress, but he shall be saved out of it. Verse 8, and it shall be in that day, declares Yahuah Zabaoth, that I break his yoke from your neck, that I break the yoke of your oppressor from your neck. In that day of great distress, I will break the yoke of your oppressor from your neck, and tear off your bonds, and foreigners no more enslave you. Foreigners will no more enslave my people, Yahuah says. And you, do not fear, O Yaakov, my servant, declares Yahuah, nor be discouraged, O Yasharal. For look, I am saving you from afar, and your seed from the land of their captivity. And Yaakov shall return, and have rest and be at ease, with no one to trouble him. For I am with you, declares Yahuah, to save you. So Yahuah says, I am going to be your Savior. I am going to be your Redeemer. I am going to be your Mashyach. Not any goats, not any bulls, not any other animals, no sacrifices as it were before, but I am going to be your Redeemer. For I am with you, declares Yahuah, to save you, though I make a complete end of all Gentiles, the heathen, where I have scattered you. Yet I do not make a complete end of you. But I shall reprove you in judgment, and by no means leave you unpunished. So why do we go through the things we go through? Why are we going through what we're going through? We are being punished. We are being chastised for our wickedness. He says, those who we love, he chastise and rebuke. You see. Yes, indeed. Not sending a son, but himself. For thus said Yahuah, your breach is incurable. Your wound is grievous. No one pleads your cause to bind up. There are no healing medicines for you. All those loving you have forgotten you. They do not seek you, for I smote you as an enemy smites, with cruel chastisement, because your crookedness is great, your sins have increased. Why do you cry about your breach? Your pain is incurable, because of your many crookednesses, because your sins have increased. I have done this to you. This is why we're going through what we're going through, Yahuah says. However, all those who devour you, shall be devoured. Now tell me, family, you've been going to church for a whole long time in your life. Have you ever heard it said in church that those who oppress you will be oppressed? It's never been said, right? The only thing is they tell you that you should love your enemy, that Yahuah wants you to love your enemy, and that is nonsense. It is actually garbage. You see, they tell you, they give it to you to dumb you down. But time and time again in the scriptures, what Yahuah tells us is that woe to those who have oppressed the people of Yahuah, because Yahuah says, if you mess with them, you've messed with the apple of his eye, right? He says, however, verse 16, all those who devour you shall be devoured, and all your adversaries, every one of them, shall go into captivity. All your adversaries, every one of them, shall go into captivity. So those who have enslaved will be enslaved. Those who have led captive will be, those who have led the captives will be led captive. Shahul also says that, I believe, in the book of Ephesians. And those who exploit you shall be exploited, and all who prey upon you I shall make a prey. For I restore health to you, and heal you of your wounds, declares Yahuah. For they have called you an outcast, saying, this is Zion. No one is seeking her. You have become the misfits of the earth. You have become the bywords of the earth. You have been called the N-word. You've been called every name under the book. You've been looked down on. You have been the scum of the earth in the eyes of many. But Yahuah says, thus said Yahuah, see, I turn back the captivity of Yahakab's tent of his house, and have compassion on his dwelling places, and the city shall be built upon its own mound, and the city shall be built upon its own mound. I want you to pay attention to verse 18 here. I talked a little bit ago about them making, quote-unquote, Jerusalem the capital of Israel. And what I want you to know, family, is that the Jerusalem that they declare to be Jerusalem, that they declare to be the city, is not the city. What they declare to be the city is not the city. It's a false city. Just like you have a false people, you have a false city. Just like you have a false Haykal, you have the real Haykal, right? But that Jerusalem they talk about is a false city. It is a false place. That's why here in verse 18, Yahuah says, listen to the language. Watch the language that Yahuah uses. Thus said Yahuah, see, I turn back the captivity of Yaakov's tents and have compassion on his dwelling places. Now watch this. And the city shall be built upon its own mound, and the palace stand on its right place. They use the word palace in translation, but it's really talking about the Haykal. The Haykal will stand in its right place. So where you see them fighting over the, what they call it up there, Temple Mount, it's false. It's not the real Temple Mount. It's not the real city. You see, it's a false place. It's a place that the deceiver has used to deceive the people. And they can go ahead and they can fight over it, and they'll destroy themselves over it, because it's the will of Yahuah for it to be so. But Yahuah says, as a part of our restoration, this is what will take place. Thus said Yahuah, see, I turn back the captivity. Verse 18, Zakaryahu chapter 30. See, I turn back the captivity of Yaakov's tents, and have compassion on his dwelling places. And the city shall be built upon its own mound, and the Haykal, the set-apart place of Yahuah, the dwelling place of Yahuah, shall stand on its right place. It shall stand on its right place. And out of them shall arise thanksgiving, and the voice of those who are laughing, and I shall increase them, and they shall not diminish. And I shall esteem them, and they shall not be small. And his children shall be as before, and his congregation shall be established before me, and I shall punish all who oppress them. And his prince shall be from him, and his prince shall be from him. There will be no fake people of Yasharal ruling Yasharal. His prince shall be from him, and his ruler shall come from among him, and I shall bring him near, and he shall approach me. For who is this who pledged his heart to approach me? Declares Yahuah. And you shall be my people, and I shall be your Elohim. See, the storm of Yahuah shall go forth in a rage, a whirling storm. It burst upon the head of the wrong. The burning displeasure of Yahuah shall not turn back until he has done and established the purposes of his heart. In the latter days you shall understand it. You see, you don't understand it all right now. You don't see how it's going to unfold. But when the time comes, you will understand it. You will see it unfold. And we're going to all be in amazement, including the wicked. They'll be amazed, but they'll be in more dread than in amazement. You see, now continuing. Because the reason why I'm coming to this, why I come to Zakaryahu chapter 30 and chapter 31, is to point out to you, is to show you the change that take place in Torah. The promise of restoration, how it will come about, who will deliver us, you see, and by what means. And how the restoration, what the restoration will look like. You see, under our restoration is governed by a new contract. Our restoration is governed by a new contract. At that time, chapter 31, at that time, verse 1, at that time, declares Yahuah, I shall be the Elohim of all the tribes of Yasharal, and they shall be my people. I, Yahuah, shall be the Elohim of all the tribes of Yasharal, and they shall be my people. Thus said Yahuah, a people escaped from the sword found favor in the wilderness. Yasharal, when it went to find rest. Yahuah appeared to me from afar, saying, I have loved you with an everlasting love. Therefore I shall draw you with kindness. I am going to build you again, and you shall be rebuilt, O maiden of Yasharal. Again you shall take up your tambourines and go forth in the dances of those who rejoice. Again you shall plant vines on the mountains of Shamarun. The planter shall plant and treat them as common. For there shall be a day when the watchmen cry on Mount Ephraim, Arise and let us go up to Zion, to Yahuah our Elohim, Halahu Yahuah. So we will go to his set apart mountain for the appointed times. For thus said Yahuah, sing with gladness for Yahuah and shout among the chief of the nations, the chief of the Goyim, the chief of the scattered ones. Cry out, give praise, and say, O Yahuah, save your people, the remnant of Yasharal. Again, only a remnant will be saved. Only a remnant will be delivered. And who will be their Savior? Their Savior will be Yahuah himself. See, I am bringing them from the land of the north, and shall gather them from the ends of the earth, among them the blind and the lame, those with child and those in labor, together a great assembly returning here. With weeping they shall come, and with their prayers I bring them. I shall make them walk by rivers of waters, in a straight way in which they do not stumble. For I shall be a father to Yasharal and Ephraim, he is my firstborn. Hear the dabar of Yahuah, hear the word of Yahuah, O Gentiles, O heathen, and declare it in the isles afar off, and say, he who scattered Yasharal gathers him, and shall guard him as a shepherd his flock. For Yahuah shall ransom, for Yahuah shall ransom, for Yahuah shall ransom, for Yahuah shall ransom Yahuah. Pay attention to the word ransom. For Yahuah shall ransom Yahuah and redeem him from the hand of one stronger than he. Now pay attention to the word ransom. It's just a translation. But the word ransom, what does the word ransom imply, family? The word ransom. He uses two words, ransom and redeem. What does the word ransom imply? Ransom. What is a ransom? What is a ransom? A payment. Yes, indeed. A payment. Remember in the book of Deuteronomy, Dabarim, chapter 28, where Yahuah says that no man will be able to buy you back? That I'm going to drive you into slavery by ships, and no man will be able to buy you back. No man will be able to ransom you. That's right. Only he himself. Yahuah says, I will buy you back. I will ransom you. So Yahuah says that a payment is going to be made for your redemption. We're looking at verse 11 in the book of Yahu chapter 31. For Yahuah shall ransom Yahuah. So Yahuah says that a payment is going to be made on behalf of his people. That he is going to make a payment on behalf of his people. Right? He is going to make payment for the redemption of his people. That's what that is saying. For Yahuah shall ransom you. Now the question is, what is the payment? What is the payment? Well, he tells us that the payment for transgression against his instructions, against his Torah, that the payment is blood. Right? The payment is blood. And it had to be a perfect sacrifice. So what Yahuah is telling us here is that he is going to make payment in his own blood for his people. He is going to pay the price for his people. He is going to shed his own blood for the redemption of his people. You see, so Yahuah tells us that no man is going to be able to buy us back, but he himself will redeem us. So in verse 11 it says, for Yahuah shall ransom Yahuah and redeem him from the hand of one stronger than he. So Yahuah says, I will redeem you. So people say, you see, those anti-Mashiach people says that they ask the question, show me anywhere in Torah. Well, number one, Torah is not just limited to the first 5 books. If you believe that, then you're following religion. Okay? Torah means all of Yahuwah's instruction. That's what Torah is. Every word of Yahuwah is Torah. It's his instruction. So Torah is not limited to the first 5 books. So we need to understand that. But in their ignorance, they say, show me in Torah where it says that Yahuwah would come and he would shed his blood for his people. Well, I just did. I just showed you. We looked in the book of Zakaryahu chapter 2, verses 8, 9, and 10. Yahuwah says that he's going to send himself. He's going to send himself to redeem his people. We come over to the book of Yahu chapter 31. Yahuwah tells us how he's going to redeem his people. He says that he will ransom and redeem his people. Ransom means that he will pay the price for their deliverance. He will pay the price for their freedom because they're being held captive. You see, it's only when somebody is being held captive that a ransom is required. And we are being held captive. We are a people, an enslaved people. We have been sold into our captivity. You see. But Yahuwah says that he will ransom us and he will be our redeemer. You see? And so, where in Torah does it say that Yahuwah would come and that he would die on behalf of his people? Well, you've seen it. It's in many places in Torah. But we've just looked at 2 places and we're not done yet. Again, in Zakaryahu chapter 2, he says that he would send himself. In Yahu chapter 31, verse 11, he said that he would shed his blood and redeem his people from the hand of one stronger than them. Verse 12 says, and they shall come in and shall sing on the height of Zion and stream to the goodness of Yahuwah, for grain and for new wine and for oil and for the young of the flock and the herd. And their being shall be like a well-watered garden and never languish again. Then shall a maiden rejoice in a dance, and young men and old together. And I shall turn their mourning to joy, and shall comfort them, and shall make them rejoice from their sorrow. And shall fill the being of the priest with fatness, and my people shall be satisfied with my goodness, declares Yahuwah. Now, in case you're wondering, and in case you missed it, Yahuwah will restore the priesthood according to the scriptures. When we are regathered into the land, the priesthood will be restored. The Haykal, the true Haykal, will stand in its right place, in its true place, and the priesthood will be restored. You see? Yahuwah will identify the tribes, and the tribes of Yasharal will be restored. We just read it there also earlier. You see? The priesthood will be restored according to according to his instructions. The sacrifices will be restored, but not for the purpose as before, because a change takes place. Okay, now, thus said Yahuwah, verse 15, a voice was heard in Ramah, wailing, bitter weeping, Rachel, weeping for her children, refusing to be comforted for her children because they are no more. Thus said Yahuwah, hold back your voice from weeping, for your eyes from tears, for there is a reward for your work, declares Yahuwah, and they shall return from the land of the enemy. And there is expectancy for your latter end, declares Yahuwah, and your children shall return to their own country. I have clearly heard a lamenting. You have chastised me, and I was chastised like an untrained calf. Turn me back, and I shall turn back, for you are Yahuwah my Elohim. For after my turning back I repented, and after I was instructed I struck myself on the thigh. I was ashamed, even humiliated, For I bore the reproach of my youth. Is Ephraim a precious son to me, a child of delights? For though I spoke against him, I still remembered him. That is why my affections were deeply moved for him. I have great compassion for him, declares Yahuah. Set up signposts, make landmarks. Set your heart toward the highway, the way in which you went. Turn back, O maiden of Yasharal, young woman of Yasharal. Turn back to these cities of yours. Till when would you turn here and there, O backsliding daughter? For Yahuah has created what is new on earth. A woman encompasses a man. Yahuah has created what is new on earth. A woman encompasses a man. You know, that's interesting. You know what's that saying? Yahuah says that there's coming a day when he's going to cause the women of Yasharal to take the lead, to take the reins. A woman encompasses a man. Yahuah has created what is new on earth. A woman encompasses a man. So because of your disobedience, because of your backsliding Yasharal, there would come a time when everything would be in reverse, where the man would no longer be the head. He would no longer function in the role that he should, but the woman would be operating in his stead. Because of our disobedience, there would be that time, and certainly has been that time and is that time. Everything is out of order. Everything is out of place. Till when would you turn here and there, O backsliding daughter? For Yahuah has created what is new on earth. A woman encompasses a man. That's a result of disobedience. Thus said Yahuah of hosts, the Elohim of Yasharal, let them once again say this word in the land of Yehuda and in its cities. When I turn back their captivity, Yahuah barak you, O home of set apartness, righteousness, mountain of set apartness, and in Yehuda and all its cities, farmers and those who journey with flocks shall dwell together. For I shall fill the weary being. Let me stop for a second and think about our captivity. Think about our captivity, family. And think about where our people have been and how our people have survived. You realize that for the most part, it's because of our women why we have survived. It's not because of the men, because the men have lost their way. But it's because of our women. It's because our women have they've fought, they've paid a great price, they have been burdened, they have been tasked with carrying the household, carrying the family, keeping a nation of people alive. It's not the way it was meant to be. But Yahuah did a new thing in the earth, where the woman surpasses the man, where the woman now becomes the protector of the man instead of the man being her protector. You see. Because of our disobedience. And in Yehuda and all its cities, farmers and those who journey with flocks shall dwell together. Now this is in restoration. Talking about restoration now. For I shall fill the weary being, and I shall replenish every grieved being. At this I awoke and looked around, and my sleep was sweet to me. We'll once again have good rest. See, the days are coming, declares Yahuah, that I shall sow the house of Yasharal and the house of Yehuda with the seed of man and the seed of beast. And it shall be that as I have watched over them to pluck up and to break down, and to throw down and to destroy, and to afflict, so I shall watch over them to build and to plant, declares Yahuah. In those days they shall no longer say, the fathers ate sour grapes, and the children's teeth are blunted. But each one shall die for his own crookedness. Whoever eats sour grapes, his teeth shall be blunted. See, the days are coming, declares Yahuah, when I shall make a new contract with the house of Yasharal and with the house of Yehuda. Now we're talking about a new contract. So the days come when Yahuah will make a new contract with the house of Yasharal and the house of Yehuda. A new contract. A new contract. You see what we saw in the book of Zakaryahu, when he replaced his dirty clothing, representing his transgression without the sacrifice of animals. That was a glimpse into the new contract. Yahuah promised a new contract. And people ask, where in the Torah do we find where Yahuah have changed the contract of redemption? Here it is. We have been looking at it for some time. Yahuah said that he would make a new contract with the house of Yehuda and the house of Yasharal. Not like the contract I made with their fathers in the day when I took them by the hand to bring them out of the land of Mitzrayim. My contract which they broke, though I was a husband to them, declares Yahuah. For this is the contract I shall make with the house of Yasharal after those days, declares Yahuah. No, after what days? Let me ask this question. So Yahuah says that he's going to make a new contract with the house of Yasharal, right? Now, let me finish reading the contract. Okay? For this is the contract I shall make with the house of Yasharal after those days, declares Yahuah. Watch this carefully. I shall put my Torah in their inward parts and write it on their hearts. I shall put my Torah in their inward parts and write it on their hearts. And I shall be their Elohim, and they shall be my people. I shall put my Torah in their inward parts and write it on their hearts. I shall be their Elohim, and they shall be my people. And no longer shall they teach each one his neighbor and each one his brother, saying, Know Yahuah, for they shall all know me, from the least of them to the greatest of them, declares Yahuah. For I shall forgive their crookedness and remember their transgressions, their sins no more. Okay? Now, so Yahuah says that the day is coming when he's going to put their Torah, his Torah, in their inward parts. But this is under the new contract. Because you see, under the old contract, the Torah did not exist, did not dwell in the inward parts of the people. The Torah did not dwell inside the people. Now, the scriptures tells us that Torah is also what? Yahuah saying that he's going to put the Torah in our inward parts. What does that also tell us, family? Torah, I don't know how to ask the question, but because I don't know how to ask it, let me just say it. You see, the scriptures also tells us that Torah is spirit. That's right. There it is. That's right. Ruach. Ruach. Yahuah's Ruach. His Torah is his Ruach. You see, under the old contract, the Ruach did not dwell in the people. Under the old contract, the Ruach did not dwell in the people. Okay? Now here is the question, and I'm going to show you examples of that in a second. Under the old contract, the Ruach did not dwell in the people. The Ruach would come up on the people, but the Ruach did not dwell in the people. So Yahuah says he's making a new contract, right? Yahuah says he's making a new contract. There are a few questions that come with that. The contract is the contract meant for us in captivity or in the land? That's one of the questions. The contract, is it meant for us living in captivity or in the land? Absolutely in the land. In the land. That's why time and time again, as we have read so far, we see where Yahuwah keeps saying that he's going to bring us back to the land, right? We see it time and time again. If it didn't matter where you were, Yahuwah wouldn't keep saying that he's going to bring you back to the land. And then go even as far as to say that he's going to rebuild his house and he's going to rebuild the Haykal in its right place. Because even when you go in the land, family, you can't just go building any and everywhere. Yahuwah considers that idolatry. That's why he says that that's one of the things that Yasharal was doing. Even though they were in the land, they were building high places under every green tree, on every mountaintop, because they were worshiping Baal. Even while we were in the land, Yahuwah had an appointed place in the land. How much more so then when we're not in the land? So how can people go on and say that they're doing this, they're keeping this, and they're keeping that outside of the land, and it don't matter where you are? You're not even in the land, and you're talking about it don't matter. Where when we were in the land, it mattered so much. And it still matters. It still matters. You see? Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed, Akut. So Yahuwah will still deliver his people from captivity like he did our fathers. That's right, Akut. That's absolutely right. And including those being grafted in. Because according to the scriptures, those who are grafted in, according to the scriptures, those who are grafted in are counted with his people, counted with his tribes. The scriptures make that clear. You see now. So, what I was saying was, as I was saying before, under the old contract, and I'm going to show you from the scriptures now. I'm going to step away and then I'm going to come back to Yahu chapter 31, and then we're going to go to Zakal, Ezekiel chapter 36 to make it more clear. Okay? So Yahuwah says, let's just recap for a second. Yahuwah says that he would be our ransom. Ransom means that he's going to pay the price. What is the price for our redemption? According to his Torah, according to his instruction, according to his law that he set up, the price has got to be blood. The price has got to be blood. And Yahuwah says that he himself is going to pay the price. Right? We see that Yahuwah said that he would send himself and he would pay the price. What does that mean? If Yahuwah is going to be our Redeemer, that means that he's our Mashyach. Yahuwah says that he's going to be our Mashyach, our Redeemer, our Savior. Yahuwah said that time and time again. So when somebody said that there's nowhere in Torah where we see that Yahuwah says that he would come and that he would shed his blood for his people, it just shows that they haven't been reading. They haven't been studying, right? I mean, we haven't gone over much, but we have seen that much so far, right? Yahuwah said that he would be a ransom for his people and redeem his people, right? Now, I make the point that under the old, so the question is, so another thing that these people out there are saying is that nothing has changed. They say nothing has changed. There is no new contract. Torah is the way it's always been and will remain the way it always has. They say nothing has changed. But right here we see that under the new contract, that the Ruach will dwell in the people. Right? Just like we see on the day of Shabbat, where Yahuwah Ruach dwelt in the people. He went into them as they were assembled in the set-apart place in Jerusalem. Right? They were in the land. Key, they were in the land. And he dwelt in them. Right? Since then, we have been driven out of the land. He don't dwell in us outside of the land. Yahuwah is separated from us, though he shows compassion and watches over us. right? But he is separated from us. But yet he still continue to favor us, continue to watch over us, show mercy and compassion toward us. But he does not dwell in us, family. Under the new contract, he said that once he bring us back into the land, he's going to dwell in us. And there will be no need for anyone to say, to teach us. But he himself will. Has that taken place for us? No, it hasn't. We're waiting for that regathering where Yahuah says he himself will regather us. So he did come and he did pay the price in his own blood. But now we wait for the final regathering. Just like when the children of Yasharal were in Mitzrayim, before they left Mitzrayim, first the blood had to be shed, right? First, the lamb had to be slain. And then the blood was put on the doorposts. And then came the Exodus. So Yahuah came and he paid the ransom. Now we wait for the Exodus. All right, so now let's look at something real quick, because this is important to note the change that comes. So under the old contract, the Ruach does not dwell in the people. The Ruach only come upon the people. All right? Under the old contract, the Ruach does not dwell in the people. The Ruach only visits. He come upon the people. Okay? Yahuah Ruach would come upon the people, but would not dwell in the people. I'm going to put some scriptures on the screen. I'm going to put some scriptures on the screen. And let's see. Hopefully, I think YouTube should be able to see this. All right. You should be able to see this on YouTube, I think. All right. Now, Mashyach in Zakaryahu, we continue. But what I want to highlight is this. That under the old contract, so some people say nothing has changed. And I say to you that yes, things have changed. And this is the new contract that Shaul speaks of also. So under the old contract, the Ruach visits, but does not reside inside. Under the old contract, the Ruach visits, but does not reside inside. Whereas under the new contract, the Ruach will dwell in the people of Yahuah. But first, the people will be regathered to the land before that takes place, according to the scriptures. Now let's look at a few of those scriptures that make that point clear. In the book of Shaphatim, Judges chapter 14 and verse 19, this is an incident with Shamshun. It says, then the Spirit of Yahuah came upon him mightily. Notice, the Spirit came up on him. Came up on him. And there are many places in the scriptures where you see this happening. This is under the old contract. The Ruach did not live in him, but it would come upon them at appointed times. Then the Ruach of Yahuah came upon him mightily. And he went down to Ashkelon and smote 30 of their men, stripped them, and gave the changes of garments to those who had explained the riddle. And his displeasure burned, and he went back up to his father's house. Again, that's from Shaphatim, Judges chapter 14 and verse 19. So there you see, under the old contract, the Ruach would come upon the individual. Let's look at some more. This is in the book of Bamadabar, Numbers. Okay? And this is an instant with Mashyach. And Yahuah came down in the cloud and spoke to him, and took of the Spirit, took of the Ruach that was upon him, and placed the same that was upon him. Took of the Ruach. That's amazing. This is Yahuah. Ruach is also Yahuah. But Yahuah took up Yahuah, Ruach, that was upon him, and placed the same upon the 70 elders. And it came to be, when the Ruach rested upon them, that they prophesied, but did not continue. Okay? So as long as the Ruach was on them, they would prophesy. And this is Yahuah coming down, taking Yahuah Ruach, taking up Yahuah Ruach that is upon Mashyach, and putting on the 70 elders. And they would prophesy. They would lead the people. They would judge the people as the Ruach would come upon them. Okay? Now let's look at another. This is an instance with Zakaryahu. Then the Ruach of Elohim came upon Zakaryahu, son of Yahuyada, the priest, who stood above the people, and said to them, Thus said Elohim, why are you transgressing the commands of Yahuah, and do not prosper? Because you have forsaken Yahuah, he has forsaken you. So he says, this is why you're not prospering, because you have forsaken Yahuah, therefore he has forsaken you. Now, this is an instance with Dahoud. And Shamuel took the horn of oil, and anointed him in the midst of his brothers. And the Ruach of Yahuah came upon Dahoud from that day, and onwards it would come upon him. And Shamuel arose and went to Ramah. Now the point here of his family, that the Ruach did not dwell in the people under the old contract. The Ruach would only come up on the people at appointed times. But under the new contract, the Ruach would dwell in us. But that will be when we are regathered to the land. Okay? Yeah. That will be when we're regathered to the land. You see? Now, the text that I just read from about Zakaryahu, that was from Chronicles, from the book of Chronicles. Let me go back to it. Bear with me here just for a second. Let me put it back on the screen. Bear with me. What I just read was from the book of Chronicles, is where that account came from. Bear with me here. Alright. Yeah, it was from the book of Chronicles. I forgot to put the text on, but that was from the book of Chronicles. It wasn't in the book of Zakaryahu. Alright. Now, okay, so the reason why we just looked at that was again to show you that there is a difference. There are differences in the contracts. That there is an old contract and that there is a new contract. Okay? And the new contract is only active when we are in the land. Just as the old contract was also. Okay? But under the new contract, certain things change. Okay? Under the new contract, Yahuah himself is our Redeemer. Yahuah is our Mashyach. Under the old contract, bulls and goats were our redeemers. You see. Now, which one you think is better? Bulls and goats or Yahuah himself? Now, it says here in verse 33 again of the book of Yahu, and then we're going to go over to Ezekiel. That's going to make it real clear to us. For this is the contract I shall make with the house of Yasharal after those days, declares Yahuah. I shall put my Torah or my Ruach in their inward parts, and write it on their hearts, and I shall be their Elohim, and they shall be my people. And no longer shall they teach each one his neighbor, and each one his brother, saying, Know Yahuah, for they shall all know me, from the least of them to the greatest of them, declares Yahuah. For I shall forgive their crookedness and remember their transgressions no more. Again, this is after we have been returned to the land. Okay. Thus said Yahuah, who gives the sun for a light by day, and the laws of the moon and the stars for a light by night, who stirs up the sea and its waves roar. Yahuah Zabaoth is his name. If these laws vanish from before me, declares Yahuah, then the seed of Yasharal shall also cease from being a nation before me forever. Thus said Yahuah, if the heavens above, if Shamayim could be measured, and the foundations of Aratz, the earth, searched out beneath, I would also cast off all the seed of Yasharal for all that they have done, declares Yahuah. See, the days are coming, declares Yahuah, that the city shall be built for Yahuah from the tower of Hanan'al to the corner gate, and the measuring line shall again extend straight ahead to the hill of Garab. Then it shall turn toward Goah, and all the valley of the dead bodies and the ashes, and all the fields as far as the Uadi Kidron, to the corner of the horse gate toward the east, is to be set apart to Yahuah. It shall not be plucked up or thrown down any more forever. So again, the new contract takes effect in the land. That's the point that is being made here as we read from the book of Zakaryahu. Now let's let Yahuah make the point even more clear and even more plainly. Let's go over to the book of Yakazakal, Ezekiel, chapter 36. And you, son of man, prophesy to the mountains of Yasharal, and you shall say, O mountains of Yasharal, hear the word of Yahuah. Thus said the sovereign Yahuah, because the enemy has said to you, Aha, the heights of old have become our possession. Therefore, prophesy, and you shall say. By the way, let me just stop here for a second. Let me just stop here for a second and revisit what we just read. And you, O son of man, prophesy to the mountains of Yasharal, and you shall say, O mountains of Yasharal, hear the word of Yahuah. Thus said Yahuah the sovereign, because the enemy has said to you, Aha, the heights of old have become our possession. Who is the enemy spoken of here? Those impostors in the land. Those people living in the land to whom the land does not belong, but they have laughed and said that the land is now theirs. Yahuah says, woe to them. You see? Yahuah says, woe to them. You see? Now, he says, he calls them the enemy, because the enemy has said of you, Aha, the heights of old have become our possession. Therefore prophesy, and you shall say, Thus said the sovereign Yahuah, because they laid you waste and swallowed you up on every side, so that you became the possession of the rest of the Gentiles. Notice that now? You see that phrase? The rest of the Gentiles? Yahuah said the land has become the possession of the rest of the Gentiles. The rest of the Gentiles. Why does he say the rest of the Gentiles? Because you have the Gentiles, who are people of Yasharal, the divorced house of Yasharal, and then you have the other Gentiles. Or in other words, what Yahuah is saying is, he is now speaking to the other Gentiles. Who are the other Gentiles? Those who have come in, the wicked, and have taken the land and declared it to be theirs. You see? Yeah, because a matter of translation. Yes, and rightly so. It can be translated nations. You see? Can be translated nations because it's Goyim. Nations, or the other Gentiles. Right? And you are taken up by the lips of talkers and slandered by the people. Therefore, O mountains of Yasharal, hear the word of the sovereign Yahuah. Thus said the sovereign Yahuah to the mountains and to the hills, to the rivers and to the valleys, and to the deserted ruins, and to the cities that have been forsaken, which became a prey and a mocking to the rest of the Gentiles all around, or the nations, right? Therefore, thus said the sovereign Yahuah, have I not spoken in my burning jealousy against the rest of the Gentiles and against all Adum, who gave my land to themselves as a possession, with all joy of heart, with scorn in their being, to drive it out for a prey? Therefore prophesy concerning the land of Yasharal, and you shall say to mountains and to hills, to rivers and to valleys, thus said the sovereign Yahuah, see, I have spoken in my jealousy and my wrath, because you have borne the shame of the Gentiles. Therefore, thus said the sovereign Yahuah, I have lifted my hand in an oath, that the Gentiles that are around you shall bear their own shame. But you, O mountains of Yasharal, put forth your branches and bear your fruit to my people Yasharal, for they are about to come. For look, I am for you, and I shall turn to you, and you shall be tilled and sown. And I shall increase men upon you, all the house of Yasharal, all of it. And the cities shall be inhabited, and the ruins rebuilt. And I shall increase upon you man and beast, and they shall increase and bear young. And I shall make you inhabited as of old, and do better for you than at your beginnings. And you shall know that I am Yahuah. And I shall let men, my people Yasharal, walk upon you, and let them possess you, and you shall be their inheritance, and no longer let you add to their bereavement. Thus said the sovereign Yahuah, because they say to you, you devour men and have bereaved your nation. Therefore you shall no longer devour men, and no longer bereave your nation, declares the sovereign Yahuah. And no longer shall I let you hear the insults of the Gentiles, or the nations, the heathen, and the reproach of the peoples you shall bear no more, and no longer cause your nations to stumble, your people to stumble, declares the sovereign Yahuah. And the word of Yahuah came to me, saying, Son of man, when the house of Yasharal dwelt in their own land, they defiled it. This is why we're going through what we're going through. They defiled it by their own ways and deeds. To me their way was like the uncleanness of a woman in her monthly period. So I poured out my wrath on them for the blood they had shed on the land, and for their idols they defiled it. And I scattered them among the Gentiles, the heathen, and they were dispersed throughout the lands. I have judged them according to their ways and their deeds. And when they came to the Gentiles, the heathens, wherever they went, they profaned my set-apart name, for it was said of them, these are the people of Yahuah, and yet they have gone out of his land. But I had compassion on my set-apart name, which the house of Yasharal had profaned among the heathen, wherever they went. So, let me just correct another notion, another false notion. You have these people out there, the anti-Mashyach people, who basically teach that they're saving themselves and that you are to save yourself and that you can save yourself. And that is a false notion. It's actually a lie, because none of us can save ourselves. None of us have awakened ourselves, which is what they're implying. These teachers are implying that we have somehow awakened ourselves and that we are saving ourselves. You see? But we are not saving ourselves. Oh, it's still on the previous screen. Sorry, Aki. Let me try to get this back. We are not saving ourselves. We cannot save ourselves. We cannot save ourselves, and we are not saving ourselves. So, how are we being awakened? Is it because of something we have done? Something we are doing? Or something we can do? No, it's not. No, it's not. How are we being awakened? Why are we being awakened? Here is your answer right here. I didn't make this up. I'm not making it up. Okay? But you got some prideful people who want to take Yahuwah's credit for themselves, and that's what got us in trouble, and we still ain't learned nothing. We're still trying to do it. Still trying to praise ourselves. Don't you realize how filthy we are? How corrupt we are? How dirty we are? How unworthy we are? How unclean we are? But yet we want to praise ourselves. So why are we being awakened? Why will we be delivered? Is it because we are so special? No. Yes, we are special to Yahuwah, but that's only because Yahuwah is merciful. This is why we're being awakened. This is why we're being delivered. Yahuwah says, verse 20 again, and when they came to the Gentiles, the heathens, wherever they went, they profaned my set-apart name, for it was said of them, these are the people of Yahuwah, and yet they have gone out of his land. Verse 21, this is why we are being delivered. But I had compassion on my set-apart name, which the house of Yasharal had profaned among the Gentiles, the heathen, wherever they went. Therefore, say to the house of Yasharal, thus says the sovereign Yahuwah, I do not do this for your sake, O house of Yasharal, but for my set-apart name's sake, which you have profaned among the heathen wherever you went. That's why I'm doing it, for my name's sake, because you deserve destruction. But I have rewritten the contract, and I will deliver you for my name's sake. And I shall set apart my great name, which has been profaned among the heathen, the Gentiles, which you have profaned in their midst. And the Gentiles shall know that I am Yahuwah, declares the sovereign Yahuwah, when I am set apart in you before their eyes. And I shall take you from among the Gentiles, the heathen, the other Gentiles, and I shall gather you out of all lands. So who's going to gather you? Yahuwah. Right? This is how you'll know it's time, because Yahuwah is going to make it happen. You won't have to force to make anything happen. Yahuwah is going to make it happen. And I shall bring you, and I shall bring you, and I shall bring you into your own land. And I shall sprinkle clean water on you. Okay, where will the immersion take place? In that set apart place. And I shall sprinkle clean water on you, and you shall be clean. From all your filthiness, and from all your idols I cleanse you. And I shall give you a new heart. Watch this now, talking about the new contract. I shall give you a new heart and a new spirit within you. And I shall take the heart of stone out of your flesh, and I shall give you a heart of flesh. And put my spirit, put my ruach within you. Where will this take place? When you're back in the land. Put my ruach in you. And I shall cause you to walk in my Torah, and guard my right rulings, and shall do them in the land. And you shall dwell in the land that I gave to your fathers. And you shall be my people, and I shall be your Elohim. And I shall save you, and I, Yahuwah, shall save you from all your uncleanness. And I shall call for the grain and increase it. And I shall bring no scarcity of food upon you. And I shall increase the fruit of your trees and the increase of your fields, so that you need never again bear the reproach of scarcity of food among the heathen, the Gentiles. And when you shall remember your evil ways and your deeds that were not good, and you shall loathe yourselves in your own eyes for your crookedness and your abominations, not for your sake am I acting. Remember now, Yasharal, it's not for your sake, declares the sovereign Yahuwah. Let it be known to you. Be ashamed and blush for your ways, O house of Yasharal. What Yahuwah is saying is, It's not because you're so good that you're being delivered. It's not because you've been perfect that you're being delivered. It's not because you've been so set apart that you're being delivered. It's not because you've been so obedient. As a matter of fact, it's been the contrary. It's been the total contrary. So do not begin to boast. Don't begin to take credit. And that's the same thing Shaul warned about when he says that it's not for you to boast concerning your salvation, concerning your deliverance, concerning your redemption. It's not by your works. It's because of the favor, the mercy of Yahuah. It's not your works that bring you back into the house, family, but your works will keep you in the house. It's important to know the difference. People are teaching that your works bring you in the house. It's not your works that bring you in the house. Yahuah says, don't think that it's anything that you have done. It's because of my name. It's for my name's sake that I turn my face back to you, because you are ugly to look upon. You're sickening to look upon. You're so filthy. So not for your sake am I acting, declares the sovereign Yahuah. Let it be known to you, be ashamed and blush for your ways, O house of Yasharal. Get some shame, will you? Thus said the sovereign Yahuah, on the day that I cleanse you, all your crookedness, I shall cause the cities to be inhabited, and the ruined places shall be rebuilt. And the land that was laid waste, tilled instead of being a ruin, before the eyes of all who pass by. And they shall say, this land that was laid waste has become like the garden of Adan, and the wasted and deserted and the destroyed cities are now walled and inhabited. Then the Gentiles, the heathens, which are left all around you, shall know that I, Yahuah, have rebuilt the destroyed places and planted that what was laid waste. I, Yahuah, have spoken it, and I shall do it. Thus said the sovereign Yahuah once again, I shall let the house of Yasharal inquire of me to do for them. I shall increase their men like a flock, as a set-apart flock, as the flock at Jerusalem at her appointed times, so shall the wasted cities be filled with flocks of men, and they shall know that I am Yahuah. Hallelujah. Well, family, I'm going to stop here. Again, we have seen that Yahuah said that he will be our Savior, our Redeemer, our ransom. He will pay the ransom and redeem his people. And it's nothing that you can do or nothing that you have done that is causing your awakening. It is only for his name's sake. There is nothing that you can do to save yourself. It is Yahuah that saves us. It is Yahuah that redeems us. And there is no sacrifice of redemption that you can bring to him now that would be worthy of acceptance. You see. So what we have seen again so far is that Yahuah is our Mashyach, our deliverer, our redeemer, the one who pays the price for our restoration. I'm going to stop here, and as promised, I'm going to open up the microphone. It is my prayer and my hope that what we have covered today has been a barakah to you, and served as remembrance of his word and his promise to his people. I'm going to open up the microphone to our Mashpaka, to anyone who might have any comments or questions. I'm gonna open up the mic, family. So if you would like to come to the mic, by all means, raise your hand. Let me go to Aki Warrior. Please go ahead, Aki.
Yeah, shalom, Aki.
Shalom to you, my Aki.
Shalom, Mishpachah. Yes, another great lesson with great clarity for sure. Yes.
Praise Yahuah.
And you know what dawned on me, what the Ruach brought to me, that and I know why, you know, in Christianity, right? And how they claim Christianity is the religion of salvation and everything, and that you know, this is what we should be doing. But you know how, and we, you know how we overlook the fact that if Christianity was so much of the belief and the so much of being is correct in Yahuwah's eye, that we would have been delivered already.
Yeah, indeed.
Right?
Indeed, Aki.
You know, you know, you see what I'm saying? Because if we reflect on what was going on in the land when we did do right, you know, Yahuwah prospered us. He kept our enemies away from us, and we had abundance in all that we did. You know, and we you know, Yahuwah, you know, kept his promise to prosper us.
Yes.
When we did right according to his Torah.
Yes.
But like I said, you know, if Christianity claimed to be the right thing,
yes,
then, you know, why is it that we still
here
jacked up the way we are?
Yes. That's an excellent point, Aki. Excellent point.
I released the mic, Key.
Indeed, that was a great point. If indeed Christianity is the truth and the way, why are we still where we are? You see, if after we've been walking in the truth for so long, quote unquote, right? So that's a great point. Great point. Tada Key for coming to the mic and for bringing that truth to our attention. All right, let me see if we have anyone else that would like to come to the mic. Bear with me here. Let me find my place again. By the way, again, oh, I hear someone. Please go ahead. Please go ahead, family.
Aki?
Yes, Aki. Shalom.
Shalom to Mashyach. This is the first time in a while since I've been on the mic.
Yes, I've heard you in a little bit.
Well, I just wanted to just comment, kind of piggyback off the Aki, just what he spoke about. Because it's this past, matter of fact, it was yesterday, we had a Jehovah Witness came into the shop because, you know, shop is, we kind of open. Kind of, you know, certain people come in, we get everybody. Yes. So he came in and it was one of the brothers that we knew in his background as Jehovah Witness, and everybody at one point when Yahuah woke us up, a lot of us was trained and we had a background in Christianity. And he was, you know, he came in there and kind of, you know, he tried to give us a word, and a lot of us listened. I was working and I listened, but I started to ask him questions, and the questions he couldn't really answer, but he was trying his best to answer. And it was certain things that he was telling the truth about, but yet I brought it back to the root of what he was saying, and he didn't want to hear when I asked him about the root. I told him, I said, do you know that you don't know where if you don't know where you come from, you don't know where you're going. And he was saying, you know, it don't matter. I don't want to know that. I said, so you don't want to know the root? And he's like, no, because I was never a Jehovah Witness, this and that. And I said, do you know you have a root to that? And he didn't, you know, he was like, no, I don't. I said, I didn't become Jehovah Witness because of my parents. I said, well, you know what? I said, little do you know, you kind of didn't, but you still went back to your roots. Do you understand that? And I said, your parents were Jehovah Witness, and you was taught in it, and you just happened to go astray. And now, guess where you're back? You're doing what they were doing. So you had a root. You just didn't recognize it. And I said, and you have a deeper root than what you're doing right now, because we all have. And I was just basically telling him, do you know that you are still in a part where your people were oppressed? and they were killed. I said, either your people, our people today, were killed because of religion. Did you know that? And he was like, no, I don't think about that. I'm just worried about the Bible. And I got to telling him about the Bible and stuff. And I got to kind of gave him, I said, did you know that the Bible's not scripture? And he was like, no, well, according to what I'm reading. And I said, well, it's deeper than that. And I said, you know, the Bible means biblos, right? Oh, yeah, some people believe that. Yeah, that's just my opinion, and that's man's opinion. He was going around everything, and he was deep into it. He didn't want to hear it, and I kind of, all I was doing was asking questions, and then I was giving him a little information here and there, and it just amazed me that a lot of stuff that we are faith.
Think we might have lost you, Aki, if you can hear me. Okay, I think. Okay.
This is nothing new. What our ancestors have faced as well.
Yes.
We are facing the same thing. And Yahuah warns us about it and tells us about it in scripture all the time.
Indeed.
But I just want to comment on the lesson today, even though I came in a little late. I was excited, and it was clear. It was clarified on a lot of things of the Mashyach, where Yahuah is our deliverer, and I just praise Yahuah for his clarity in the lesson, and I just give praise to Yahuah for everyone that's still on board, still listening, and I'm praying for the ones that cause themselves to go the other way. I just pray Yahuah to open our eyes continually as we go on this journey. And I'm going to release the mic because I know other people want to come on, but I just want to come and give a comment and encourage to the Mashyach that Yahuah is our deliverer, and we just stay the course. We'll be okay.
Indeed. Indeed.
Praise Yahuah.
Indeed. Hallelujah. And the word that I want everybody to remember is from Yahu chapter 31, where Yahuah says, and that is key, said that he would be our ransom and our deliverer, that he himself would pay the price. You see, and that's very important to remember. All right, to the Rabbi Aki, great hearing you and hearing your testimony there also, and may Yahuah truly continue to use you. The thing is, when people have been so conditioned, when they encounter the truth, when you run into the truth, the first thing you want to do is fight it. But some people, as with all of us, will start off by fighting it, but for some, in the end, they'll wake up to it and they'll stop fighting and start seeking it, you see. And so it is our hope for that individual, for that gentleman also. Let me go to my Aki Adi Al. Please go ahead, Aki.
Shalom, Aki. Have you heard?
Yes, indeed. Shalom to you, Aki.
Shalom, Mashbakar. Well, I just have a question in regards to the contract, because I saw it on the board previously, and I just want to know, in relation to the contract, since the old one has been done away with, and the new one is yet not enacted, are we just kind of in limbo at this time as far as contracts are concerned?
Got you. Yeah, great question. Yep. So what happens is, according to the scriptures, when we are in where we're in captivity. We're not a free people, right? That's what the scriptures make clear to us. And so, as far as the contracts are concerned, the contracts have another word for the contract would be a constitution, right? And so constitutions have their points of action, right? And so if you're abiding by a constitution, there are things that you do to bring that constitution to life, right? To enact the constitution. Contract is the same thing, but this first and foremost stipulation with a contract is that you got to be in a certain place. You got to be in the land that the constitution applies to. for you to walk in the Constitution, right? So now when it comes to general instructions, and the new contract is really dealing with redemption. That's what the new contract is about, the contract of redemption. That's the only thing there that's new, is how we are redeemed. That's what changed. That's where the change came in. We talk about the word Torah, as a matter of fact, and there's a lesson on YouTube that I did, a study that I did about the contract, Yahuwah's contract, what changed. I believe that's the title of it. And making this, and on there's another one on Galatians chapter 3, where I highlight this difference too. People look at the word Torah and they don't realize that the word Torah, when it's used, it can be used pertaining to different instructions. Torah simply means instruction, right? And so you have Torah for different things. You see, you have instructions for different things. So this change that we're talking about is really dealing with the Torah of redemption. And that's where the change came in, how we are redeemed. You know, so that when it comes to redemption, we are a people in limbo. We are a people in waiting, so to speak. We're a people in waiting, you see, right now, because it won't take full effect until Yahuwah bring us back into the land. And that's where we walk in that constitution. So yes, as it is right now, we're a people waiting for our deliverance. The price was paid, just like the price was paid in Mitzrayim when the lamb was slain, and then they painted the blood over their doorpost, you see. And so how are we painting the blood over our doorpost? We're painting the blood over our doorpost by taking heed to the word of Yahuwah, right? Walking according to his word where we can in our captivity. There are some things that we can't do in captivity, but where we can. So there are certain laws we ought not to, with certain instructions we are not to break, right? You know, there are things that we can do in our captivity. Don't lie, don't steal, don't covet, don't, all those things, right?
Yes.
But there are certain things that you just can't. But as long as we're doing what we're supposed to be doing, seeking to honor Yahuwah, that's us painting the blood over our doorpost, over our hearts, you know, waiting for our actual exodus.
Okay, to the Rabbi for the clarification. I really appreciate it because, like I said, I saw someone ask the same question.
Oh, to the
Aki Yahu, he wanted to know as well. So hopefully that answered the question for both of us.
to the Rabbi Aki, because I missed the question. So thank you for bringing it back up.
Shalom.
Praise Yahuwah. Shalom to you, Aki. All right. Anyone else, family? Let me come back to the board. Give me 1 second. Okay. Aki Yahu, your hand is up again, or is that from last time, Aki? I think it was from last time. All right, I'll go ahead and lower it. Akut Telesia, please go ahead, Akut. I'll unmute your mic for you. Okay? Yes, you can. Shalom to you, Akut.
I just wanted to come to the mic because I had you on the mic. And I think it's been like a little over a year and a half, like a year, 3 months since I've been. So I just want to say thank you all for welcoming me to the mic.
Oh. We're glad to have you and to hear you. You sound a little bit away. Are you able to turn the mic up, or?
Yes, I'm on my cell phone.
Okay. Yes, hear you. Yes, that's better.
Okay. Well, I don't know where to start, but I just want to say I'm just grateful to know about Yahuwah because he has done some things in my life that's just like unexplainable. And like I'm facing some things now and I'm kind of scared to say what I'm going through, but if I'm going to be a part of this family, then I don't want to have secrets.
Yeah.
I'm just going to lay it out.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Like the last 4 months I've been going through some things and I turned to marijuana thinking that's going to help.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not smoking every day, but I am smoking. and I smoke cigarettes.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just trying to figure out, like, I know I shouldn't be doing it, but it's like the things that I'm going through, I feel like I need to turn to it, knowing that Yahuah is everything that I need.
Yes.
And it's like, I don't know what to do.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, I understand. And you know, earlier when I, as I began the program, we talked about finding yourself sometimes in a place because of the things that we're faced with and what we're going through. Sometimes our circumstances can seem bigger and more real than Yahuah. You know, you know your circumstance. You feel it. You're facing it day to day, and but sometimes it feels like, well, where is Yahuah? Like, I see my circumstance, but I don't see him, right?
Right.
And that can be challenging. It can be heartbreaking. It can be just a whole lot of stuff. And part of some of the scriptures that we read today deals with that. You know, Yahuah talking about our why we go through what we go through and feel the way we do, but he also promised deliverance. And in your situation, Akut, what I would encourage is continue to cry out to him, right? And we stand with you in prayer in that regards. What I can assure you is, while you're going through that now, you continue to seek him. We continue to pray and to seek him together. There will come a time where that thing is broken, you see, and you won't feel as if you look back and be like, wow, I didn't even realize I got over this or I got through this, you know. But the challenge is, while you're going through that water, the challenge is keeping your head above that water. And as you're going through the river, Yahuah says that he'll cause you to pass through the river, through the flood, but you will not drown. Some don't mean that sometimes your head won't go under, you see, but he's not going to allow it to destroy you. But in the meantime, what we've got to do together is to seek him and ask for his deliverance, ask him to help in your deliverance, you know, and to know that it's just the adversary will make you think that the answer lies in something else other than him. But what we got to realize is that that's just a lie. It's a trap. It's a trick, because there is no other answer but him, you know. And so no matter what we turn to, we're going to find out that it's futile, because he is the only one that can deliver us. And the answer lies nowhere else. So when we realize that, that helps us also in not falling for the trick and turning to other things, because really there is no answer in that. It is only more chaos. It only brings more chaos, you know. And it's
my same thought when I get done, so I understand.
Indeed, absolutely. You find that the problems ain't gone nowhere, right? So, you know, so my encouragement, Akut, is continue to persist, continue to seek him, ask for his help, because it's only him that can deliver. And it's been my experience in going through something that while I'm going through it, you know, it feels like it'll never end, and I pray about it, and eventually he comes through, you know, and when he does, it feels good. And so just don't give up. And again too, don't allow the adversary to cause you to put yourself down, to condemn yourself, right?
And that's how I've been feeling. So I know, because like I said, 3-4 months ago, I turned to it, and I stopped reading and everything. And I'm like, I just feel empty, you know. And I know it's because I'm 3-4 hours a day, just give my time to Yahuah. And I had stopped. I'm like, okay, even if I'm doing this, it's just temporary. I still have obligations to read and do whatever it is I'm supposed to be doing.
Yes.
This not stop me, because I done been way worse things than this. You know, I just, like I said, I'm grateful to be here, and I just want to put myself out there. I'm not going to no outsider for advice. I'm going to stay in the house. Ain't no way they can see what I see if they don't even know what I know.
That's right. That's right. And you know what too? That's one of the first steps toward being victorious, because the enemy The adversary wants you, he wants you to himself. He wants you to keep it a secret, just between you and him. But you see, once you expose it, you expose him. And you rob him of his power, you know, so you disarm him. So and so that what you did was that was a great thing, Akut, and it's a step in the right direction.
Okay, well, thank you, and I'm gonna put my email up there. I'm gonna get some information for you.
Okay.
I'll put my email in and let you know what I need.
Okay. Okay.
And thanks for the time, Mashyach.
To the Akut, great hearing you.
All right,
all right, shalom. All right, let me go to my Aki Yahu. Aki, please go ahead, Aki. I'm going to unmute your mic for you, Aki. Okay. Oops. Did I? Yes. Okay. Mayasha said shalom to you all, family. Aki Yahu, can you hear us?
Yes.
Oh.
Can y'all hear me?
Yes, we can. Great to hear you.
Shalom to you and your child and to my Mashyach. I'm thankful for this lesson. It has been a barak to my understanding. I kind of came in a little late, and but I wanted to. I'm basically asking for some understanding for a friend who I grew up with. His brother lost his son, and he been going through a lot of what you just finished telling Akut. He been dealing with a lot of guilt, and the adversary been working on him, and they fear that he's going to maybe try to commit suicide. So this is a father who lost a son.
Yes.
And he having a difficult time trying to find answers to why his son was killed.
Yeah.
And the family is saying like it's a good thing that he's working because they think he would have done himself in a long time ago, but
yeah.
And my prayer is, because, you know, my friend said, well, it would be good for me to talk with his brother, but I told him, I said, well, where is the word inside of you? Because you're his brother. And you should be able to give him word. I say, but since you don't dwell in the word from the right perspective, you don't have nothing to give to him. But if Father Yahuah chooses to use me, I know he will give me something to say, but I'm just saying, you know, I'm just been heavy-hearted on his behalf.
Yeah.
And I'm just trying to pray to have something if the occasion should come up.
Yeah.
To give him what to say, but to be truthful with him
Mm-hmm.
that, you know, 'cause they all caught up in Christianity
Yeah.
and they all being even though we try to talk with my friend, a lot of times I know he pressured uh, from being ostracized from his family.
Yeah.
You listen to, you know, other stuff, you know, but I know Father Yahuah can do anything.
Indeed.
And I just ask Mashyach pray upon this situation and the Father give me or someone something to give to him from Father Yahuah,
Yeah.
that it happened to keep him from thinking about this, where he can become strong. But you know, I feel sometimes because what I have come to understand about death, and I don't know if I'm quite right, but it seems like a loved one after they're gone, there's nothing we could do.
Yeah.
And I don't want to tell him something that might push him further over the deep end.
Yeah. Yeah.
And once again, I enjoyed the lesson, and I guess I could find the lesson to listen to in its entirety on YouTube, huh?
Yeah. Yes, it will be available on YouTube, Aki.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I want to thank you and Mashyach for giving me this time to speak. And I love all of y'all with the deepest of my heart.
Praise Yahuwah.
I sign off.
Praise Yahuwah. We love you too, Aki, and it's always a delight hearing you. And you are a testimony, a testament to the greatness of Yahuwah. And, you know, Aki, what I do know is that if Yahuwah chooses to give you the opportunity to speak to him, I am confident too that he will give you the words to speak, because he always does. And so I don't think that you have to worry about saying the wrong thing, because I truly believe that Yahuwah does give you the words to speak. And you know, be it his will and he give that opportunity, you'll say the right thing. You know, again, it goes back to the nature of our captivity, the things that we go through as a people. You know, I've actually lost three sons. I've lost three sons. Two babies, right? I have two boys that were stillborn just a week or 2 weeks before the delivery date. I've lost two kids that way. And I've also lost, my wife and I also have lost a 18-year-old, you know, from being murdered. And it's not easy, but at the same time, what I do know is we go through what we go through because of the state and the condition that we're in as a people. It's a part of the curses, you see. It really is, you know, and that don't make it any easier. You know, as a matter of fact, it can be discouraging, and Yahuwah knows that. The word that we just read shows us that, tells us that, you know. But the thing is to keep focused and know why what's happening. Problem with a lot of our people is They don't understand because they don't know their history. They don't know why it's happening. You don't know yourself. You see, if you don't know yourself, you don't know your history, you don't know your past, you won't even understand your experience, and you certainly won't know where you're going or where you should be going. You know, and so it has that have a lot to do with it, and it's hard to encourage someone who have no hope. It really is. You know, that's like the verse I quoted from the book of Mashyach, Proverbs earlier, where Yahuah says, "Hope deferred makes the heart sick." Hope deferred makes the heart sick. So, if a person have no hope, it's hard to bring any kind of encouragement to them. And in order for you to have hope, you got to have a knowing. You got to have a knowledge. Yahuah says, "For the lack of knowledge, my people perish." You see. So, you know, but I'm confident, Aki, that Yahuah will give you the words and the knowledge needed to impart to him should he give you that opportunity.
Turah.
Praise Father, praise Yahuah, and much love to you, Aki, much ahab to you and to Akut Yolanda. All right, let me go to let's see who else. What Akut Telesia, your hand is still raised, Akut. Not sure if you wanted to come back to the mic. If you do, please feel free to do so, Akut. Oh, praise Father. Okay, you know, we had decided to dissolve Rob because it was challenging to continue to create the account, the investment vehicle that we wanted to use for it, with us being so scattered. It created a challenge, so we decided to dissolve Rob. But you know, if anyone want to contribute to helping our family in the assembly, and your giving really does help our mashpaka more than you'd know. We have family who are in need, and when you give, it goes to that. And so if you want to contribute, the email address for that PayPal account is wordoflife55@yahoo.com. It's also how you can communicate with me. wordoflife55@yahoo.com. wordoflife55@yahoo.com. And sometimes here, especially recently, work have been hectic. You know, sometimes it gets heavy. You know, I'm in a position where I lead people. I'm like a working foreman. My title at the job is OSAC, on shift activity coordinator. So I coordinate the activities of the shift, right? Which involves making sure that things that needs to get done is done, which involves telling people what needs to be done and working with them to get it done. I'm in a leadership role, but I also work with people that don't make that easy, don't make my job easy, because I'm a black man, and especially a black man with an accent. And there are people, I can tell you, who feel like I shouldn't be in that position, and they try to make it difficult for me. And so sometimes I feel exhausted just from thinking about work. And that kind of affect how often I get to do other stuff. You know, family, sometimes it just gets heavy. A lot of times it gets heavy, but you know, Yahuah is good, and I continue to press. But I just say that to say that sometimes if you send me an email and it take a little while getting back to you, it's sometimes just a lot of different things that play into that. But I want to try my best to get back to you in a timely fashion. All right. But that's where that is. Okay. Anyone else, family, before we close? Once again, it is indeed a delight and a baraka seeing each and every one of you. Let me go to Haykal Sherry, Aki Yahakab, servants of Yahuah. Please go ahead. Please go ahead, Haykal.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, shalom to you, Haykal.
Hello. Just wanted to say this is a great lesson, and shalom, Mashyach. And I just had a question. Yaakov came in, so we're both here now.
Okay.
Yeah, from 2 weeks ago, one of the other verses having to do with what you're talking about today, Galatians, and it's Galatians 3:10 through 13.
Okay.
And so I'm wondering in this passage, is it mistranslation or is it added? And how do we look at the curses today from Deuteronomy and in 28? And then are we still under the curses as a nation, or how does that work? Like,
yes. All right. Now, you know what I'm gonna do? I don't know if did you come across? Have you come across the lesson on YouTube, Galatians chapter 3? There is a video on YouTube dealing with just that chapter. I'm gonna try to find it right now, and I'll put it up because I think it'd be helpful for others too. Somebody else might have the same question, but what I'd like to do is I'd like to put the video up because all of it kind of flows together. Give me just a second. I'm trying to pull up that video now so I can share the link on the
yes. I don't know if I watched that one, and if I did, it was probably a really long time ago. And
okay,
I think what I've kind of noticed is just being in this land of captivity.
Yes.
There's so much always like distractions and so much bombarding, and it just seems like Hashatan always comes in and steals the word. So I'm really been focusing on trying to get it deep down in my heart. And so it's helpful to have those lessons to go back to, and when you've retitled them and all of that, it's very helpful.
Yes.
So
and you've been a great help. You've been a great help in that, Akut, and I can't thank you enough. It show. Oops, bear with me. That's just the video I'm grabbing. But the questions that you ask, and it shows how diligent you are in your search, and I appreciate that, and I appreciate you, and the different questions that you bring and the suggestions that you make. I find them to be quite helpful. So I want to encourage you with that also. Now I'm going to put the link to this video here. I'm going to put up the link here so that because I'd like for others to look at this video also, to watch it. The book of Galatians chapter 3. I have 3 videos up there dealing with chapter 1, 2, and 3. But chapter 3 in particular, this is the link for chapter 3. And what I'm going to do is I won't bother to go over those 2 verses because the video covers it. So I'm going to just post the link, and you can check it out there, family. Okay. Something else you had said though besides Galatians, I think you did you mention something else, Akut?
Just Galatians, 3 through 13, and then just how Hashatan comes in and steals the word from us.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. There is indeed, in fact, and it is true, there's so much, and I started off earlier by talking about the distractions and the voices and just everything, that that's out there. we are living in Babal. House of confusion is really what it means, you know, place of confusion. It means confusion, literally. And so those distractions are going to come, and don't feel bad for asking and re-asking. I really don't mind when I know that a person is sincerely and genuinely seeking. I don't mind. There are people who ask questions, and I've said this before. They don't ask questions because they want to know. They just ask questions to create confusion, create further confusion. And generally people like that I don't even bother to respond to, because it's a waste of time. But I know where your heart is, Akut, and why you ask questions, and I really don't mind you re-asking. I just because the video goes into details, I'll just leave the link there and encourage everyone to watch it.
Do you know, I think that when the live chat goes off, that it disappears. Is there any way you can put it in the description box underneath the video as just to click on? Okay, so like this live chat, for example, or the video link? Yeah, this live chat we're on YouTube. It disappears, and then on YouTube, the live chat, I don't think any of those comments stay when we're talking on YouTube. So if you put it in the description underneath the video.
Okay, yes.
That would be awesome.
Yes, we'll do Akut. I'll do that. Yes, indeed.
And I don't want to be long-winded or anything. I just want to say that we're also asking just for continued prayer, and we're praying for you all and just praising Yahuah for all he does. I've been trying to figure out kind of how to fight in our situation, like waiting on Yahuah, but also having wisdom on how to go about things. And in this captivity, we went a different route before, and it didn't work out going through the system and trying to go that route. And I know we're stuck in the system right now. And then we tried a different route. That didn't work. So I know it's all about Yahuah's timing, and I know in our situation, though the false allegations made about us to bring us to this place are false, I know that Yahuah's allegations against us are true, and so he's just. And so we're trying to, I want to use my education, though it's useless and pointless in this world today, but I want to use the information that I have to expose the situation I'm in and what's going on. So maybe it can help some of Yahuah's people, and just having wisdom on how to do that, just even to awaken or to be able to be in contact with people who I wouldn't have been able to talk to before had I not gone through this. So I just some prayer on how to use what gifts and talents I have, trying to figure out what those are, and Yahuah as well. And I don't know, I know we're supposed to just wait, but we're also supposed to be active in doing things. So just prayer on that. And like I said, praise Yahuah for all of you and the wisdom, and we're praying for you guys as well, because we know we're not alone in what we're going through. So shalom, Mashyach.
Shalom to you, Akut, and Aki, Yahuah, and Tuda Rabbah for coming to the mic and for sharing. And as encouragement to you, I'll say this one thing. There is, in my personal life, what I've found is there has not been an experience that I've been through that I've not served in the end for my good, and for the good of my my family and my people. Every experience I've had, no matter how negative, it has served to be my teacher. And for us, the key is to find the sweetness in all of that bitterness, to find the lesson in it, to learn from it, so and it works for our good, you see, because what the adversary may have meant for our destruction, certainly Yahuah is powerful and is able to turn it to our good. And so the key is not to give up, not to become frustrated, allow yourself to be swallowed up, you see, but allow Yahuah to teach you in it, because ultimately it works for our good. And when I say to you that I've found that every experience that I've been through, I've worked for my good, it really has. No matter what the situation is, it really has. And so Yahuah will see you through it, Akut, and we stand with you and pray with and for you in that.
Turah, Rabbi. Just a real quick testimony of like yesterday. Jim's or Yaakov's mom was talking about Valentine's, and we were talking about Christianity earlier, and bringing up how like once we were all into all these pagan holidays and everything, and she was horrified because she didn't send Valentine's cards to our son's school, and she was trying to tell me, it's okay, Sherry, like Jim's dad went ahead and got some chocolates to send this next week since we didn't get them. And I said, well, remember, we don't do any of the pagan holidays. I just said holidays, so I didn't bring stuff up. I usually say holidays. And so she was like, oh, and I said, so she goes, so what would you have done? And I said, well, we would have had him not celebrate or participate, or we would have had him stay home. And she goes, oh my, and she looked horrified at me, and she goes, I'm so glad he's here.
Wow.
And so I just I let it roll off my back, and just I know that she's not awake to anything. And so it's just interesting how things change as Yahuah awakens us, and he's growing us and making us stronger. And like I keep saying, please make me a warrior in you so I can be strong to deal with these things. And so I just wanted to share that, and sorry for taking up so much time.
Oh, no problem, Akut. Yeah, no problem. Thank you for sharing. I'm sure it's encouragement to somebody else. You know, and praise Yahuah. And certainly, those who are not aware won't understand, and that will be their response. We deal with it. I understand right where you are and what you're dealing with. So nonetheless, Yahuah be esteemed, and it is my prayer, my continued prayer, that Yahuah it will deliver your children, that he'll deliver them speedily, but in his time. And again, there is a process to the furnace. You see what I'm saying? There's a process to the furnace. When you go in, he don't deliver you from it, but he delivers you through it, because there is something that needs to be worked out. There's something that needs to be done. There's purification that has to take place, and you got to go through the process. So what we ask is for strength for the process. May Yahuah give you strength for the process. All right, let me go to
Aki?
Yes, Aki, go ahead.
I'm sorry to interrupt. I know you have to go to someone, but I just wanted to kind of help Aku share. It just went off on the link. If she was on the computer, I don't know if she's on her phone or not, but I know if she's on the computer on the lesson, she can click on the chat and then just click on the link on the chat and let it run for a little bit before it can save in her YouTube, and then she have it.
Yeah.
So I don't know if she's on the phone or she's, because if she's on the computer, she can do that, because I was able to do it like that.
Okay, yeah. Great. Turah key. Yes, that is true. If you Akut, if you're using a computer, you click on that link that I posted. It'll take you to YouTube, and then you can save to your history. You can go back to it that way too. I believe if you're on a phone and you do it, it will also do the same thing. It'll start it, and then you just stop it and minimize it, whatever, and you can go back to it later. And I'll still post the link inside the description of this video, so it's available that way too. Yeah, so I'll do it that way also. I'll post it in the description of this video also. All right, let me go to Aki Al Yahu. Shalom to you, Aki.
Shalom, Mashyach. Can I be heard?
Yes, you can. Shalom, Aki.
Oh, okay. Well, nice. Well, always all praise to Yahuah. Yada Yahuah, Allah Yahuah. Just grateful for the lesson. Like always, unfortunately, I did miss by about like toward the end, like 20 to 30 minutes of it because I was talking to my dad.
Okay.
But I don't know if anybody said anything about. I understand that some we were talking about like the signs and the things as far as like when it comes to Yahuwah's deliverance, and I guess just to make it simple, also we kind of like, and I guess in the time we're in right now, as far as like waiting for deliverance, is it pretty much I guess a waiting game that we're dealing with right now, as far as like, because I know Yahuwah's still working, he's still waking us up. There's still more of us that need to be waking up, so it's like, I guess you could say we're pretty much just going through a waiting process, continue to work, continue to do what we've been doing, I guess, within our daily lives until Yahuwah finally moves us to our land so we can, I guess, possess it once again. So I guess my question is we're just basically being patient and just waiting until I guess he finally give us the call to move on. And I guess it's as simple as I can make it. So
yeah.
So hey, that's all. I try to make it more clear, but I guess that's as clear as I can make it.
Yeah.
So shalom everybody, and I'll be released tonight.
Yes, praise Yahuwah. Well, indeed, that's what it is. But we're waiting. But while we're waiting, Yahuwah is working. So think about what Aki Zakaryahu pointed out earlier, that if Christianity was truth, then our deliverance would have already come. Think about how long we've been in Christianity, right? If we have been in the truth for that long, the people of Yahuwah would have been awakened, you know. The elect of Yahuwah would be awakened and ready. But the truth is that this awakening is just now starting. There's a whole lot more people to be awakened. And so while we are waiting, the key for us is to be able to endure to the end, because it is those who endure to the end that shall be saved, shall be redeemed. But while we are waiting and enduring, Yahuwah is still working, you know, awakening his people. So for us, a few years might seem really long, but even think about Christianity that has been around for thousands of years now. You see what I'm saying? You know, in comparison to our awakening, which is just a couple of days. So, you know, it might seem, oh, come on, Yahuwah, but, you know, the reality is we ain't been waiting that long. In reality, you know, so, because when we thought we were ready, we really weren't. And who knows, if we might think we're ready now, we ain't ready. You know, the scriptures warn about that. In the book of Amos, Yahuwah talk about those who are talking about come quickly, Yahuwah. But yet the day of Yahuwah will be to them like a man coming in from the outside, going into his house, and then putting his hand on a serpent on the wall of his house, you know, being bitten and then perishing, you know, because they might think they're ready for Yahuwah and they're really not, you know. So Yahuwah warns about that also. So but yeah, it's a waiting. We're waiting. Yahuwah is working. So that's what it comes down to. All right. Well, Mashpaka.
Aki, real quick.
Yes, go ahead, Aki.
Yeah. Reflecting again. So, you know, as we were, you know, some of us was asking, you know, where are we at?
Yeah.
And as far as you know, waiting on Yahuwah, what's next?
Yeah.
So we say, what's next?
Yes.
So you know, we gotta reflect. So everything is, you know, Yahuwah gave us everything. Our lessons are, you know, to guide us. So we have to. So I'm looking at. So we right now, or so we know that the blood has been cast. Yahuwah has cast the blood. he was pierced and so forth, and that's done. So the door, some of us had placed the blood over our doorposts. So as we reflect back in Mitzrayim, Mashyach and the people, after the blood was posted, we still, you know, our ancestors had to wait before the actual departure took place. So, you know, and so I'm looking at like, okay, so, you know, we got those plagues, those things that took place in Mitzrayim, you know, and I was like looking, and what caught my attention, because I was, you know, paying attention to, you know, before this lesson, and I was saying that, you know, we at this point of waiting right now, and, you know, certain things, other events have to take place. And then all of a sudden the flu just started knocking folks out, you know, just taking them out by the droves, you know, 4,000 in 1 week, 40,000. Yeah, and I'm saying, I said the plagues. I said, okay, the things that happen in Mitzrayim, all that, those things have to take place, and because Yahuah already said that I'm gonna ship you back to Mitzrayim. I'm gonna send you back to Mitzrayim in ships. So Yahuah was telling us, I'm gonna send you back to Mitzrayim, okay? You know, not literally the land of Mitzrayim, but then, you know, spiritually, you know, as far as Yahuah is concerned, it's the same thing. So that's where we are, Mitzrayim, combined with the Babylonian, you know, confusion, you know, from Babylon, you know, is a mixture of, you know, it was the physical captivity and the psychological and spiritual captivity. You know, a dual threat, not even a dual threat, but a dual captivity that we were under. You know, physically, you know, we come out of the physical aspect, but psychologically and spiritually within our nefesh, we're, you know, a lot of us are still in captivity. So those things, you know, what happened in Mitzrayim, the plagues and so forth like that, that still has to take place.
Indeed. Yes, indeed, Aki. Right on point. Right on point. And that's one of the reasons why I point out earlier in the lesson that being in Christianity, you never hear them talk about Yahuah judging those who have held his people captive. But that's the plagues, you see. And as a matter of fact, on YouTube, I have a series of lessons on YouTube that covers that, titled "The Plagues Are Coming." Right? The plagues are coming. And basically the point of those lessons is, okay, so while we're waiting, this is what's next. The plagues are coming. You know, so great point, Aki, and that's what's next. You see, so while we're waiting, Yahuah is working. You see? So yes, indeed. All right. Turah Rabbah once again, Aki, for bringing those things to the forefront of our attention. Let me, oops, I think I might have unmuted you. Shalom, Akut.
How you guys doing today?
We're doing well. Great to hear you.
Thank you. I'm not trying to be rude, but I was thinking about the Florida shooting and the comment that you made about the scripture about the blood being a redemption.
I think your connection is messing up. Your audio. Yes, go ahead, Akut.
You know, shooting one was hashtag. Can you hear me?
It was having some trouble, but let's try again. Please go ahead, Akut.
And I was thinking about all the things that's been happening as far as these school shootings are concerned.
Yeah.
And it also happened on Ash Day. And I was thinking about when you said that it would have to be a blood redemption, you know, for us. And it's just kind of weird as how all this has been happening concerning them.
I think we've lost the coot. Wakita again.
It's keeping.
Yeah, your connection is going in and out, so I'm sorry, Akut. I missed some of what you had to say, but yes, it certainly, I believe it's a part of the reversal of the curse, right? And Yahuah has made it clear that when we look at everything, we're living in some particular times, and from generation to generation, people tend to say that. But we can truly be certain that the things that we see unfolding, we haven't seen them before. And nobody has seen them before, you know. And so it's a part of the dismantling, you know. It's a part of Yahuwah's vengeance. And it's a part of what has to be. It's a part of what has to take place. You know, in the midst of it all, when you look at it, you can look at it and say, man, it's just a sad state of affairs, you know, but at the same time, it's it must be done. It has to take place. And please go ahead, Akut. I'm not sure if you're hearing me.
Yes, I heard you.
Oh, okay.
It was just that I was, you know, and then on top of that, I was at work, and everybody kept walking by, oh, happy Valentine's Day, happy Valentine's Day, happy Valentine's Day, and I was just looking at them like, and one person was like, oh, you're not going to say happy Valentine's Day back? And that's when they just like, I don't celebrate it. Well, here go these little snacks anyway. And I left it sitting up on the, I left it sitting up on the cabinet because it's like, I just told you that I don't celebrate it, and you still want to offer me a bunch of candy.
Yeah.
Which I don't eat anyway.
Yeah.
And I was just looking at them, and they just make a big deal about you're not wishing them back on their holidays. I must have had some type of look on my face because she walked away, and I was happy she did. It's just weird because I see a lot of things that's happening, you know, not only to just, you know, the heathens, but to us too. You know, a lot of we're being punished as well. And he said he was going to punish us first for our wickedness. But I see a lot of things that everybody else don't see. They look at it, oh, that's such a bad thing. Oh, it should be under control. Oh, this and oh, that. And I'm like, we all got to pay for our wrongdoing, regardless of who's doing it. And that was just all what I seen with, you know, with my eyes.
Yep. Absolutely. Absolutely. You know. You know, the other thing too, what's funny about this, you know, the doctrine that have been used to promote slavery is the curse of Ham doctrine, right? That Ham basically laughed at his father, and so you know, of course, they don't know the Creator by his true name, or if they do know it, they refuse to call him by his name. They've replaced his name with an idol, but they claim that you know, God cursed him and he turned black. The curse turned him black, and as a result of that curse, that's why black people suffer, and that's what give them the right to do to black people all the things that they continue to do. But what is amazing to me is that they never think about the flip side of that, because the scripture does certainly give you the flip side of that. Because even if somebody is being persecuted because of their disobedience, so they fall under the curse, the scriptures do make it clear that the person persecuting the one that is cursed will also have to pay up, will also be, at some point, that curse is going to be reversed upon them, you know. So, but they never think about that. You know, and but that is certainly what's happening. We're seeing a reversal. And you know what's amazing? Yahuwah continued to preserve us in the midst of this, and that's what we see in Mitzrayim. Because as the plagues begin to unfold, the people of Yahuah will be protected. They'll be sheltered. Because even while the people were in Mitzrayim and the plagues were being poured out, Yasharal was not affected by the plagues, right? They weren't affected by the frogs. They weren't affected by the lice. They weren't affected by the hail. They weren't affected by none of that stuff, yet they were living in the midst of it because Yahuah, he kept them protected, you know. So certainly the plagues will come, and those who have been evil toward his people will pay, and in the process Yahuah will certainly look out for his people.
Okay, well, shalom, and I'm getting off the mic because I'm actually driving. So
okay.
I love you guys, and thank you so much.
All right, love you and appreciate you, Akut. Shalom, and be safe.
Shalom.
All right. Well, Mashpaka, I don't know if any of our family have anything else you wanted to say. Or ask. If not, then we're going to prepare to close out. Once again, it's been truly a delight and a baraka spending this time with you. Glad to see all of you, family, and may Yahuah continue to strengthen us and to keep us, because I tell you, Babylon can wear us down, you see. But be encouraged, be strong, and continue to seek Yahuah. Don't give up. There ain't nothing out there, you see. So let's continue to press. All right, well, we're going to prepare to close out, Mashpaka. We're going to pray, we're going to close out, and may Yahuah just continue to barak you and to strengthen you in all you do. Let me just check YouTube very quickly. Bear with me just for a second. Oh, let's see if I can find it. Give me just a sec here, family. Check our family on YouTube. Okay, I think I had accidentally went away from the broadcast on YouTube. Okay. All right. Well, once again, family, it's been a baraka. We're gonna close out. And Yahuah willing, we won't be next week, will be the week after that. We'll come back and we'll continue our study through the book of Zakaryahu. We'll be going to chapter 4 the next time we're together. All right. Yahuah. And let us prepare to close. Yahuah. Praise Father. Abba Yahuah, we thank and praise you once again for this day, for this time, for this fellowship. We praise you for your people, Yahuah. Praise you for your promise, for your encouragement. We praise you for your vision. We praise you, Yahuah, that you continue to preserve us, continue to keep us, you continue to lead us, you continue to guide us. We pray that your word would continue to be a light, a lamp to our feet, and a light to our path. Pray, Yahuah, that you would help us to be encouraged in the face of adversity, in the face of persecution, in the face of ridicule. Pray, Father, that your name, your great name, would be esteemed. We pray that you would keep our children, that you would keep our homes, keep our lives, our marriages, our family. Yahuah, we pray for your elect, that they would be awakened. We pray, Yahuah, that you would dispel myths, and that you would cast down confusion among your people. We pray that you would be with us in the coming week, Yahuah. Pray that you would watch over us, protect us, and that your zeal, your zeal in us, Father, that it would flourish, that we would hunger and thirst for you, and that we would be satisfied by you and in you. Hallelujah. And so we praise you, Father, for your debar. We praise you for this fellowship and for each and every one of our family. We pray for strength for each and every one. We pray, Yahuah, that you would guide us Deliver us, Yahuah, from temptation and from every stronghold in our lives. I pray, Yahuah, that as a people that we would walk set apart unto you, that we would find joy, true joy in serving you. Do this, we pray. Amen. Hallelujah. Family, may Yahuah barak you and keep you. May Yahuah lift up his face upon you and show favor unto you. May Yahuah cause his face to shine upon you and give you shalom. May the name of Yahuah be upon you. Hallelujah. Love you all, Mashpaka. Yahuah willing, I'll be seeing you soon. Leila Tub, Shabua Tub, and may Yahuah truly just continue to barak you. Shalom, family.